It's clearly up Margo's alley. This is like talking to Nelson about tech.
Well, I'm a fruit fly. I love the gays, and I think that's why they make me sit next to him. He's talking about Grindr, by the way.
Yeah. Check me out on that.
Grinding and Grindr are two different, but very actually oddly similar things. But please continue.
Speaking of necrophilia, Ian, what have you been into?
And that'll be the end of the episode.
I'm never getting invited
Well, thanks for coming to the Sofa Kingdom podcast.
No, okay.
And I'm going to talk about a deceased comedian who's one of my favorites, again, with the one-liners. Are you all right there?
Spit that way. Please spit that way.
No, don't spit this way.
I'm not a spitter.
Yeah.
Swallow.
He's a gargler.
Swallow.
No, it's just
he says that ponytail.
He says, I'm going to step away from the darkness for a while. So I'm going to talk about a dead guy.
And once again, Ian's necrophiliac.
All right, so
Does my ponytail look good?
Nobody wants to hear
it always looks good.
You're welcome.
How about my ponytail? Thank you.
Riding my pony.
That's the stripper national anthem.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
have you listened to music that's beyond 1991?
No.
I don't blame you, actually. The new rap music is pretty
These
trash.
are broken.
Yeah, it is
I'm
better.
just kidding.
No, it's not.
You were just going to have to hold it like
No, you
earmuffs
always ruin
for
my
the
hair
rest
with
of-
these. I look like a
You're
weird
going to have to
elf.
Whitney Houston it the whole time.
I actually do that at karaoke. Can we do
That's
karaoke
good.
one day?
Good.
Listen, man, I can throw down some
I know. I
notes.
was just about to
Yeah,
say,
man.
you just hit some R&B there. That was good.
A lot of rock band.
If I...
Oh,
shit. Hey, wait, hold on.
We're about to start breaking dancing in this bitch.
No,
Ian, get on the
I
table.
actually legit sang Whitney Houston.
Coyote ugly, this motherfucker. Get on the table, Ian.
All the testosterone in my vocal cords helped me sing.
I'm a retired pro wrestler. Don't say table.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. All right. I think we should start the podcast then. All right. Eddie, cue the music. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your hosts, Nelson.
Ian.
Ed.
And our special guest today,
Margo.
All right. So, we're going to jump right into it with what's new with you. So, we'll start with Ed because he usually has the most boring shit.
Sure.
Putting everybody to sleep.
But the most informative.
Very informative.
Very
If you
Ed
want
is
to go
a
to
freak.
sleep.
Ed is a freak.
With that hat, he has to be.
It's always the quiet ones.
You guys don't know about Ed.
That's why Ian's loud.
That's right.
Nelson made
boring.
the mistake one time of saying, you do tech stuff, lean into talking about tech stuff. And the very first time that I started talking about tech stuff, he couldn't get away from it.
I would have an aneurysm.
Faster. I thoroughly loved it because you could see him just like,
I was slowly
please stop.
melting
And he
down.
keeps trying to change the conversation. I kept trying to bring it back. It was great.
It was slow. It was methodical.
I just
it
love
was
looking back and
chock full
forth.
of information.
Who on earth wants to be slow and methodical?
Yes,
Depends what you're doing. It depends what you're doing.
You got to rage.
Depends what you're doing.
No, you got to rage.
I was
bro.
thinking jujitsu, but
Oh, were you? Yeah, me too.
Head in the game, Ian. Head in the game.
Too.
don't start the
some
Me
of
Too.
these.
We just started.
All right, me too.
Just started.
I give it 20 minutes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Eddie. What you got? And
All
it
right,
better
so-
not be tech.
No, that's all right. I mean, I could give a review of
sorry
the
for
wheel I've
scratching
been
my
using
nose.
for the game, but no. Latest thing I've been playing is Octopath Traveler. It's a video game.
Is that with the
that's good.
Octomom?
No, there's no. We don't need that. We definitely don't need that. That's
It just sounds very weird.
I was thinking Octopussy.
The octopus is safe. Thank you.
Yeah. See? Our minds went to similar places.
no. It's named because there's 8 storylines happening because there's 8 main characters essentially. As you're playing through the game, it's an old style game, so it has a bit of a 8-bit kind of pixelated looking art.
Like Legend of Zelda kind of
Yeah,
deal.
it's a very
It looks right up my alley.
Yeah, it's a very old style RPG. You will definitely have to grind in some spots, which can get a little annoying. But the story itself is actually pretty good. It's clearly up Margo's alley. This is like
See,
talking to Nelson about
I
tech.
I'm a fruit fly. I love the gaysm. I think that's why they make me sit next to him. He's talking about Grinder, by the way.
Yeah. Check me out on that.
Grinding and grinder are two different, but very actually oddly similar things. But please continue. See, I'm interested, but you are still managing to put somebody to sleep.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Not in jujitsu though.
I'm interested.
But yeah, it's a solid game. It's more of an indie kind of developer, but they've managed to kind of get out there. They're basically everywhere at this point. They're on the Switch. They're on the Xbox.
Okay.
It's coming on free with Game Pass, so it was an easy pickup to play.
Is it ever coming to PS4?
Ooh, I'm not sure if it's on the PS4.
We don't care about PS4 because we play Xbox.
Listen, okay, some of us,
Yeah.
some of us are still playing PlayStation.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, what's the latest? I don't do video games, so what's like the latest game system? Like the newest, hottest?
The Xbox Series
the Series X
is the big one for
and
the Xbox,
the PlayStation
Microsoft.
5.
PlayStation 5.
And Nintendo did a revision where they got an OLED screen. But really, any of the Xbox or the PlayStation, good luck getting your hands on them.
Yeah, especially Christmas.
Yeah, scalpers are using bots.
My roommate just paid like $700 for a PlayStation 5.
As soon as they go
That's
live,
not bad.
before you're even able to buy them, the bots are buying them, and then they go and they resell them on the secondary market.
Me and Eddie actually had to go buy my Xbox at the outlets, and I'm like, all right, Ed, we gotta look tough. And I'm bringing cash, and if these motherfuckers try to jump us, we're gonna jujitsu the shit out of these motherfuckers.
So I'm guessing you didn't get one.
Oh no, I got one. This kid, like, I brought my brother right for backup. This kid brought his girlfriend, and she was the tough one. Because like he shows it to me, I'm like, I'm gonna have to check the box and make sure there's no bricks in there. You know what I mean?
You know, if Ed shows up in that
She was
hat,
like-
you're getting the fucking.
Oh yeah, Eddie showed up.
Yeah.
He was the muscle. I was like, Eddie, don't talk. Just look Arab. And he's-
That's
Yeah, but when does Eddie talk?
that's relatively easy.
I would just have Ed show up and carry a suitcase and not say anything.
yeah, exactly.
That hat, suitcase, I'm getting whatever the hell I came for. I'm getting what I
That's
came
right.
for.
We're getting that shit. No, but I looked at the kid like, I don't know him, so I don't trust him. I'm like, I'm gonna have to open the box, because it was sealed, but. I don't want to come home after giving somebody $700 in cash and there's bricks in that fucking bitch.
Yep.
So she's like, you got to open it? I'm like, yeah.
Can you like test it out? Because I mean, it could be broken. I mean, do you ever?
That's the chance that you
I buy
take when you're
cars
there.
just off a
Yeah.
whim
Yeah,
sometimes, so I don't.
Yeah, that's the chance that I would have taken, that I did took, and it wound up working out. It was
Yeah,
fine.
because there has been issues with that of orders being delivered, and then it's the delivery driver stealing them and replacing something else inside the box, or saying it's delivered and then not delivering it. Or even recently, someone ordered one and it was refurbished. And the reason why the person had sold it to be refurbished was because they got banned, so they couldn't log on at all with the console.
It was essentially a brick, so they
It's
couldn't log on themselves.
Yeah, because nowadays games you essentially got to update them the second you get them. So yeah, it was a brick. You couldn't do anything with it.
That's fucked up.
That's bullshit.
That's fucked up. Imagine spending $800 putting it on, and you can't do nothing with it. That's why we call it a brick. It's just a piece of shit at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, a real expensive one at that
Okay.
point. Yeah.
All right. So Margo, what about you? What's new in your world?
Nothing.
All right. Excellent. Ian, what about it?
No, I'm an idiot.
I highly doubt that.
No,
Yes.
I signed up to compete February 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And so I lost 43 pounds a couple months ago.
Congratulations.
Nice.
I gained it back. No,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just saying, somebody go to certain places.
We're all about body positivity here.
Yes, we are.
No, my hip started hurting really bad after doing a lot of running, a lot of stuff. So I tried to take a break to let it heal. It didn't work. So I'm just like, I guess I just got to do what I got to do and suffer with it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm back at it again. I got to, cut a little bit of weight for the next tournament, and then.
Okay.
So you guys probably won't see me for a while because
Are
I'll
you
either
doing
be
any-
training or.
Yeah. Are you doing anything to like try to rehab it? Or are you like stretching and everything, or is it just like
No.
an injury? No.
That's the
So-
problem.
No?
I mean, you have to apply some of those physical therapy
change the
sciences.
approach.
Yeah.
Why? I don't have time.
Use an elliptical instead of physically running.
I
'cause
don't
the
have
im-
time.
She's
avoid
such
the
a
impact.
barbarian. I'm just gonna run through it.
Nah. Suffer.
She's like, I wake up in the morning and I punch a horse in the face.
They make bicycles. You could avoid.
Her dog is a
Have you
horse.
seen me on a bike?
Yes.
No,
It's not a good look. Speaking of,
Only because you took the seat off.
That's true. We were going to talk about comedians.
Yes.
So Louis C.K. has a bit called Incurable Shitty Ankle. And he's like, my ankle started hurting, so I just went to the doctor. And he's like, what do you do for like athletes? You know, like, do you give them a cortisone shot or whatever? And the doctor's like, you're not an athlete. And he's like, so what do I do? He's like, you just stretch your ankle for 10 minutes a day. And he's like, okay, and how long is that going to take to heal? And he's like, no, you just do that now.
That is your life.
Yeah, so this is my life.
That is
just
just
gonna
the
have
thing you're gonna have to do.
Yeah, I'm going to have a gangster limp for a long time. So.
That's it.
Well,
But-
when you punch horses in the face, you know,
Yeah.
you should have a
It's
gangster.
develops problems.
Also another Louis C.K. bit. It's talking about punching a horse in the mouth.
Oh, God.
But,
Fantastic.
yeah, so I'm competing, so no one's going to see or hear from me very much.
Well, look, you're doing your thing, and that's that's a positive.
We got to touch back on Louis C.K. then. I feel bad.
Oh,
For
yeah,
Louis.
yeah.
I feel
We'll come
bad.
back
They did Louis
Go ahead.
dirty.
Yeah.
They did.
we
Can
were-
we talk about it now?
Yeah, talk about
We'll
it.
talk about it now. for a
Talk
little
about
bit.
it.
We'll talk about it now. for a
Talk about
little
it.
bit.
I said it before you
I
got
I mean,
here.
the guy was jerking off and looking at people. I mean,
But-
it's a little
and
weird.
he had consent, didn't he not?
Probably.
Most of the time.
Most of the time he did.
Apparently, he was asking for consent, but I mean, if you're standing in front of the door, you're like, "Do you mind if I do this?"
Mind if I beat off and stare at you?
Also, by the way, I took you on tour with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you hear the newest bit that he talks about that?
No,
I did not.
So he
It's
comes
probably
out and
gold,
he goes, so if you ever want to do something, ask for consent and then ask again and then still don't do it. Just leave.
It's probably about right.
I do know some of the
Poor guy.
female comedians. Some of them had forgiven him, and some of them did say, he did ask for consent. And there were some of them. It's happened multiple times. They were saying there were times where I said sure, and times where I said no, and I left.
Right.
Yeah, I feel he got roped in with like they almost compare him to a Harvey Weinstein or like a Jeffrey
Yeah,
Epstein. It's
ridiculous.
for any
It
of those
wasn't-
situations,
wasn't nearly
you're
as
never
bad,
going to end
like-
up getting all of the whole story. You're always going to get
It's just money
somebody's
grab.
particular
Yeah.
version.
They just want money. That's all it is.
He, you know,
And once they were going after him, everybody could just kind of jumped on board. It's the same thing they did with Aziz Ansari. With
Yeah.
It just sounded like a shitty date.
Yeah.
And then the girl was just
Oh,
like, I'm going to
Aziz.
jump in on this.
Ugh.
And then went after him and pretty much like made him a shut-in for like a year and a half.
now
2
Bill
years.
Cosby on the other hand, we can't really
Oh,
do
fuck
that.
that
We
guy.
can't-
Yeah, man.
Sorry, Bill. You
I'm
make
Yeah,
over
he's
it.
got
Putting
nice
it-
sweaters.
you know. Yeah, you were. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Cosby got everything he had coming to him and really didn't get enough.
Yeah, Jello
Yeah, I
Jello pudding hasn't tasted the same since.
And I mean,
I
that's
don't eat
that's
it
everything
anymore.
that's
I can't do
happening
it, bro.
now with
You're not supposed to eat it out of men's asses,
Activision.
Yeah,
don't
he
tell
is.
me how to live my life, Margo.
they had the Bill Cosby suite whenever they would go to conventions.
Oh, no.
Which was exactly for what it was being implied for.
Did they burn it down?
I hate when people. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I hate about cases like that is the people who contribute to it. Like
Yep.
it's one thing somebody's abusing somebody. It's another thing that the people who keep it secret. Like you're an asshole too.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
that's the guy who's catching heat now. Is he was one of the heads in Activision, and it turns out he knew what was happening, and he so it doesn't seem like he was directly involved, but he was involved with keeping it covered up and hiding it from investors and the board members and all of that kind of thing. So
He should be held accountable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like hold him accountable, and then there's been massive walkouts and all kinds of things like that. So that whole chunk of there's a chunk of the industry that's like, okay, well these people are guilty. Something should happen to them. But you're talking about a company that has thousands of people, and they're relying on the sales of their games, and people are now boycotting the games. What happens to all of the people who are
not fair to
not
them.
guilty
Yeah.
that are
Right,
still
right.
because it's abandoned ship.
Yeah,
People are jumping out of the company as fast as they can, but there isn't anywhere for thousands of people to go at once.
Yeah.
A
Right.
handful of the big names, they got out real quick. As soon as things started heating up, they're goodbye. But most of the people in the middle, they're stuck. They can't go anywhere.
Did you know if anything developed with the Blizzard lawsuit in California? Is that still going on? Because I know they were going down.
Well, yeah,
Well,
that's what
Do you
that
know
is.
what
That's
about?
No, I don't.
Fill her in first, or
Yeah.
fill everybody in.
well,
with what
that's
about.
what I was saying about the Cosby suite. So they had some important people on their teams that got preferential treatment, and they were doing things, abusing their power, just like you see in other companies and
Sorry,
in the
my ass
film
is sweating.
industry.
Oh, good.
And
We can hear it.
I can hear it.
Well, wait till it leaks onto you guys.
I think I'm starting to smell it.
I'm far enough away that I'll be all right.
I don't know. There's a pool coming towards you.
From what I heard though, it was pretty like it was almost like frat boy life. Like,
Yes,
kind of. Sort of way.
it very much was, and that's like I said with the Cosby suite and all that, and that's what's happening now with one of the guys in charge. Is he knew what was happening, and he was keeping it covered up and keeping it out of the press and making sure that none of it got out with the way they would, disclosure agreements and all kinds of nonsense like that.
I think someone didn't, if I'm not mistaken, on a company trip or something, someone took their life, right? Like it was.
Yes,
it got
one
real
of the
bad.
ladies.
Yeah.
Well, she had.
Damn.
Yeah. It got
With
real
everything
bad.
that happened, she had killed herself, and then it was on the following retreat that somebody was then passing around nude pictures of her. So it wasn't
post-mortem.
So I believe it was actually post-suicide.
Holy shit. Okay.
What a dirtbag.
All right.
Yeah,
Blizzard. All right,
that's
Blizzard.
Yeah, man.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
so
bullshit.
yeah, it really was just them appeasing a few people that did a healthy chunk of the work or the direction of their company and their games.
And it
So
sucks
they
to-
would keep
yeah.
they were doing what they needed to keep them happy in the eyes of like the board and things like that.
And that sucks because you're right. You said like it's the actions of a few individuals, and then all those
Yeah.
people that worked real hard on like
yeah.
StarCraft and World of Warcraft.
Okay,
and
but I have a question though, right? How the fuck did you manage to bring the podcast down so quickly with one fucking subject?
This is the comedy episode.
This is the comedy episode.
Listen,
Like, what the fuck?
I'm not the one who brought up Louis C.K.
Yeah.
I think it's
I brought-
Good
hilarious.
job, Margo.
I brought up Bill Cosby.
I think it's
brought up-
hilarious.
You think it's hilarious?
Speaking of,
All right, so
Anyway,
skipping ahead.
so speaking of Bill Cosby too.
No, god damn it.
I wanna say
I
it.
just
Okay.
wanna say-
Say it.
I just want to say, why has Cardi B not gotten in trouble for drugging so many men and robbing them? I understand it's not a
Because-
molestation thing, but like,
because-
why do women get away with so much
Because
stupid
more
shit?
men are
because
willing.
no one gives a fuck.
Right.
About us.
No, I know,
more
it's
men
stupid.
are willing to accept that and just be like, oh well.
Well, they don't want their
Well,
wives
you know.
finding out.
Right,
That's why.
right.
Yeah,
That's a lot to do with it.
Yeah, them trying to not let other people find out and that whole
Yeah, that they
embarrassment
were-
of all that, and that's what lets
Yeah.
her get away with
Of
it.
course.
Well, there's
because
a stigma for men versus
Well, it's
women.
like Joe
when it
Rogan.
comes
Joe
to
Rogan
those
does a skit on that. He does a whole skit on like he said there's a commercial for like hair or something he saw. He said and it was like a baby gets out of a limo. And the baby's like, it's a boy, little
Right.
boy, and the baby's like wearing like a suit and tie, and all these hot models are like they're like touching it. It was like a skin thing, like it's like,
Right,
it's like to
right.
make you look younger. It's for a man, and like the baby goes to the show and he's at like a table and they're popping bottles and like all these women are like trying to like touch him and shit. He said if you reverse that role,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like if you switch, he's like
That's
if you
a bunch
had
of
a little girl,
pedophiles.
if you had a little girl in a dress coming out of that limo and all these like fucking big oiled
ain't
up
wrong.
guys in loincloths
Yeah,
are like,
yeah.
he's like, you would
I
go
like
to
how
fuck.
he thinks about
He
it.
said you would go to fucking jail for writing that commercial.
100%.
For writing that commercial, you would go to jail.
Oh yeah, they would boycott the whole fucking studio.
Oh, he nails it. It's like there's just a double standard. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
if something happens to a girl, everyone is always like, oh, let me help.
Yeah.
you.
I'm
But
just tired
If
of-
something happens to a guy, it's like walk up, you fucking pussy.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you?
I'm
You
just
know?
tired of women getting away with stupid shit, like the fake accusations and
Yeah.
It's nice to
stuff
hear
like
that.
Like
from
I know a
woman.
lot of men that have had their lives completely ruined
Sure.
from false statements.
accusations. Yeah.
Yep.
And there should be jail time for
Yeah,
it. Sorry.
in
Yeah,
general,
I agree.
there's nothing that happens when you make a fake accusation. You ruin
Well-
somebody's life, but generally, even when it's found out, by the time it's all said and done,
It's too late.
It's too
And
late.
you-
it's
you
too
take
late,
away-
and that other person doesn't get anything for
Too
what
late.
they
You're right.
caused.
Young athlete. That
Yeah,
maybe he's
you're
an
looked
aspiring
at-
NFL star.
Yep.
Gets wrongly accused of something, goes to jail 4 or 5 years. So what if in 5 years they find out he's innocent? His career's over.
Unfortunately,
been
that
derailed.
actually is a real story where someone accused him of rape.
Who was that?
And it
I
was
remember.
like a decade later that they
Decade.
recanted the
A
story and he
decade.
got out. But it's like
His whole life
he
is-
spent 10 years in prison.
That's
like-
someone's life.
But it
That's someone's
victimizes
life.
other women too. It makes their stories invalid and it makes people not believe them.
Yes.
When there's so many lying women who lie for attention or for whatever reason because they're insane, and then there's a woman that something actually happens to, and if nobody believes her,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
because and then that you're hurting other women. Like
Right.
So there's two extremes.
take away from
it's
that.
like it's like
You
it's
take
bad. It's
away-
bad to do it and to be the person who's actually doing fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But it's also bad to be someone who falsely accuses someone
Sure.
because you destroy lives just as bad.
so comedy.
comedy.
So Ian, what's new with you? Fuck.
What's new with me? Okay. What's new
That
with
got
me?
dark.
Can we
Well, you
just
invited me, so it's gonna
Dig
get dark.
ourselves out of that grave that we put ourselves in.
Nothing, man.
Speaking of necrophilia, Ian, what have you been into?
And that'll be the end of the episode. Cue the music.
I'm never getting invited
Well, thanks
again.
for coming to the Sofa Kingdom podcast.
No, okay. All right. I've just been trying to stay on top of shows, man. I've been trying to stay on top of shows.
All right.
I'm excited for, I believe next week, Spider-Man drops.
Yes.
Next week,
Far From Home? No Way
No
Home?
Way Home.
No Way Home.
No
And
Way
then we get to
Home.
find out whether or not fucking, Andrew and Toby are going to show up.
I believe they are. I believe they are going to be in there.
I just want to see, what's his name? I want to see William Dafoe's ugly-ass face under that Green Goblin mask. I hope
He's
he pops
definitely
out.
coming back.
It's his voice. It's
Oh, yeah.
definitely his voice.
Yeah.
You know who Spider-Man is?
Yes, I'm sitting on him.
That's not you are.
I forgot.
They'll put the clip in.
He's making a lovely cushion right now.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's going like
yes.
this too, so it's real weird.
Better keep talking. You more attractive by the. Oh, we're recording. Okay, great.
Should I flash the camera?
Please don't. It's going to be on the YouTube.
You have to sit on Spider-Man's face.
This is the
My Spidey sense is tingling. So me mainly, I'm just staying on top of my shows, and I'm excited for next week. Because next week Spider-Man comes out. I'm gonna be there opening night, and also on the 17th, I believe the second season of The Witcher drops.
Fuck yeah.
So next
I
week
can't
is a
wait
good
for
week
that.
for
I heard
science
that's
fiction
actually
and
good.
Marvel fans. It's a great.
The Witcher
fucking
is a
week.
great show.
haven't
It's one of
watched it
those
yet.
shows that you have to give it your attention. Though.
And
Yeah.
Henry Cavill
Because-
is daddy.
It bounces through a timeline. So people that have a short attention span or low intelligence,
Okay,
when they
so I
watch
can't
the
watch
show,
it.
they have problems. They're like,
No, just keep looking
"What's
at Henry
going
Cavill. You
on?"
can watch it.
Yeah,
You can watch it.
you can get through it. It's
Yes.
really good, actually.
Okay.
All right, so that's good. Spider-Man, I'm looking forward to that as well because I know I'm going to be going opening night too. We should all go together.
We should all
man.
go.
Yeah, fuck
Actually,
yeah.
include Ed this time.
Do we have to?
We do.
All right.
I'm right here.
I know, but
right
we're
here.
still discussing. We're still discussing your face. So we're taking them.
Yeah, we take him. We'll take him.
All right, but can we put them at least in a different row?
Margo can come too. She just has to bring the cushion.
Yeah. I might need
You're
an
gonna need
extra.
a bigger cushion than
I'm gonna
that.
need a bigger
Oh,
cushion.
very
See
good.
over the people in front of her. Yeah,
cushion.
okay, yeah, all right. All right, so for me, I'm going to discuss a trailer that I don't know if I'm with it or not. It's the Halo trailer.
Oh, I didn't know if I thought you were talking about a trailer.
Oh, no. No, I'm not talking
Ball
about
trailer.
a
Okay.
trailer.
I cleaned out
I'm
a
not
room in
wearing
my trailer
camo.
for you.
Yeah, we cleaned out a room for you.
I'm not cutting my hair into a mullet. Not that kind of a trailer.
I've been debating it.
No, so it's just probably something else you don't know about. Master Chief, Halo video game.
Real big game for the
They're
Xbox fans.
Huge game. It was one of their biggest proprietary games, helped sell the Xbox and propel it to what it is currently.
So much money.
Yes,
much
a lot of money.
Yeah.
So now they're doing a show on Amazon Prime. Paramount is doing it.
Should clarify, a new show. They've done other shows and they've done some shorts and movies and
Is
whatnot.
this live action?
This is going to be live action.
Yes.
Oh shit.
It looks really good, but the trailer didn't really show me anything other than, hey, we've got the look of Halo down pat.
Hopefully it does better than Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop
It's
is already
already
canceled.
canceled.
Already canceled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
God.
shit. It was absolute shit.
Sorry.
So Cowboy Bebop is an
Sorry.
anime that we were hoping was going to be a really good show because the cast in it was really good, but it wound up being a
At the
big
end of
piece
the day,
shit.
no matter who the cast is, whether they portray it properly or not, it still falls down on the writers and the editors.
Right.
So if they take a great script and they shit all over it,
Right.
and then hand it to an editor who then shits all over it some more,
It's gonna probably be pretty shitty. By
it's
the time
gonna be a real pile of shit at the end. That's just the way it's gonna work.
That's how it works.
So like in Jurassic Park 1, when he's looking at the dinosaur shit, he's like,
That-
that's a large
I
pile
had
of
seen
shit.
someone literally use that when they were
fucking
talking
great.
about Cowboy Bebop.
Well,
Yes.
there you go then.
Great minds think
Rest in
alike.
peace, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
tried.
Yeah, you did
did your
try.
best.
And they had Harold and Kumar in them motherfucker.
They
How do you
tried.
fail?
They tried.
You know
They,
what I mean?
they put forth effort, but
Fuck
you,
it.
you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. You
All right,
can't.
so let's jump into comedy.
All right,
all
let's
right,
do it.
right. No more depressing talk. We promise.
All things funny.
Margo, do you promise?
Is the darkness
impressed.
gone, Mario?
All right, we'll start with you, Margo. If you had to pick
Oh, God.
a stand-up comedian that you liked,
Uh-huh.
who would it be? Who would be somebody that stands out to you that best represents your comedic personality?
I mean, as I was saying, I love Louis C.K. I just like that real, just the worst parts of life. The worst, making them hilarious. And just being really dark and making it funny. Because that's how to enjoy life. You know, the worst parts of life, you got to find some light, and I like that he does that.
Didn't he have a series for a little while there?
He did.
Oh yeah,
Louis?
the Louis show.
The Louis show.
Critically acclaimed. He was
So
one of the
funny.
main writers, one of the main editors. In fact, I believe he cut his wages on what he should be getting paid to maintain creative control.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Yep. He's done that with everything he's done. He's
Yep.
he's not just a genius in comedy, but he's a genius in business too. A lot of stuff that he's done.
He's had to be to survive that
Putting
amount
his
of
stuff-
attacks and shit.
Putting some of his comedy specials up
I don't
on
think he's a
streaming
bad-
on his
Louis,
own
you can jerk
website.
off in my living room anytime, Louis. Don't worry about it. You're good, man.
And I can attest to that.
Wow. Confess. I'm not coming to your living room ever.
Not in my living
No
room.
consent. No consent. No consent. No consent.
That's disgusting. Not in my living
But
room.
if Louis does come to jerk off in your living room, please invite me.
I will. I'll send you an email.
Okay.
You know what? I'll even leave. I'll give you the keys
Thank
to the
you.
house. Just clean up. When
Thank
Hey, this is the
you.
Hotel
You have
California,
the
baby. You can't ever leave.
You have keys to Ian's house, is what you're saying?
No,
Everybody has keys to you.
I could get keys to
Okay.
Ian's house.
It's not hard. It's not
I
hard.
think there's a guy at Home Depot that sells them for like $5.
Oh, perfect.
You know Jesus?
Jesus.
Goddamn. Traitor.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Sold me out.
All right, Ed, what about you? Pick a comedian.
Well, speaking of comedians that are dark, how about Anthony Jeselnik?
Oh, man.
He's a great comedian.
I think he's probably
He goes
comes up with the darkest premises of anybody that's out there. I mean,
You laugh at
dead
Yeah.
baby jokes per capita.
Yeah.
He is the highest.
He's top of the tops. Yeah.
I like his slow delivery, too.
Yes.
Everything's a slow
It's
delivery.
very methodical the way he delivers
Yeah.
and the way he controls the stage. It's very purposeful the way he puts his whole act together.
He does a great job of making you laugh at something, but realize you should not be laughing.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I love a guilty laugh.
Oh, I love that. Like, I shouldn't be doing this.
I believe he has his own podcast as well, and I know he had his own interview show for a little while also, in between doing his comedy, because he usually takes 2 to 3 years in between his specials. He's not on that one a year.
No, but
high
when you
speed like some of
listen
the
to
people
his
are.
specials, they're like, it's perfected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like from beginning to end, he's hitting you with one-liners or little stories, and he's bringing it back, and it's fucking. He's really good.
I imagine it takes a little more time to come up with premises that dark, and then turn them in a way that you're going to make people laugh, because that is a different skill than just trying to make people laugh. That's a whole extra little notch of difficulty of what he's trying to do.
All right. I think I'm gonna step away from the dark side,
Oh, man.
So cheesy.
Jesus.
So cheesy.
and I'm gonna talk about a deceased comedian who's one of my favorites. Again with the one-liners. Are you all right there?
Spit that way. Please spit
No,
that
don't
way.
spit this way.
I'm not a spitter.
Yeah.
Swallow.
He's a gargler.
Swallow.
No, it's just
Yeah, he
he
earned
says
that ponytail.
he says
Good.
he says I'm gonna step away
Step
from
of
the
the dark
darkness for a while.
side. Deceased
So I'm gonna talk
comedian.
about a dead guy.
And once again, Ian's necrophiliac.
All right, so Mitch Hedberg.
Oh,
Love
what?
Yes.
Yes.
Love him.
One of my favorite comedians out there. I to this day, every now and again, I'll go back and I'll watch his little
One of the
videos
best
that he's got on
one-liners
YouTube.
out there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's one after the other.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I highlighted my hair because I thought some strands were more important than others. Like, the stupidest shit. A snake bite repair kit is a body bag.
Yes.
I love that shit. It's like 8 words and it's just hilarious.
And he would also deliver it in a way where like he wasn't even sure if
He was
the
on
joke
heroin.
was gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a fucking
course he's
drug
gonna be
addict.
Deliberate
But
slow.
It could have
the way
been he was just
delivered it-
way too high to be on stage.
Yeah, he said that in a couple
Valid.
interviews. He was way too high to be on stage.
Valid point. But still, one of my favorite comedians. Really loved his stuff. Too bad he died ahead of his time. He was one
Died
of
young.
those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drugs will,
He'll do that to you.
will do that to you.
Oh yeah. What about you?
All the 90s bands.
Yeah.
I miss heroin bands.
Backstreet
They had such a, we're going dark again.
Oh my God.
We're going dark. I'm sorry.
No, talk
I'm
about your
sorry.
heroin
Alice in
bands.
Chains.
Margo
Blind
Posner
Melon.
2022. Bring back heroin.
I wish I was kidding, but
It
please
makes
bring
the
back
beautiful
heroin.
art.
Yes, it does.
Hey, Guns N'
So, like,
Roses
the
wrote
Jimi
Sweet Child of Mine
Hendrixes,
completely on heroin.
the,
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Sorry. Okay. No more darkness. Go ahead.
No, hello,
Yeah, right.
darkness.
I wore
Okay.
my dark
My
eyeshadow.
little friend.
It's like, "Come to talk with you again." All right.
Eddie, I know you got it in there.
Wait, what is he doing? What is he doing?
He's looking for it, but it's too late. It's too late,
No,
man.
it's not.
You
You
ruined
missed
it.
your fucking mark.
Eddie ruins
fired.
everything.
Get the fuck out of my room.
I had to switch to the
Guys are
tags. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Oh my god.
Just hit them all.
Yeah, you know what we're gonna do, Eddie? We're gonna get some fucking index cards. No, don't just start pushing random buttons.
Yeah, why not? You know, a little sad
Got it.
folk music.
Yeah, yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
We got it all. We got it all.
Yes, yeah. All right,
I
Ian,
thought we were done with the darkness. That's
We are.
depressing
We're-
music.
I'm trying.
No.
I'm trying so hard. To
This is the comedy episode.
It's just not happening.
The darkest episode yet.
Well, comedy's dark, so I guess we're kind
is.
of on point, aren't we?
It
It
can
is.
be. Yes, it really can be.
Ian, just
What about you? What do you got?
What I got?
who's your faves?
Well, it's not my fave, but I mean,
Besides
we're
me. I mean, hello.
well, we're not talking about the greatest of all time yet, so we don't.
No,
touch on
no,
that.
we're just talking
But
about.
one that I'll pick that's maybe like a niche that like most people maybe overlook him is Beau Burnham.
Yes.
Love
Beau Burnham is funny
Oh,
as shit.
Oh, he's the guy with
such
the
a
puppet, right?
genius.
No, he's
That's
Really? He almost
Jeff-
punched you.
I'm just
He almost
Dunham.
backhanded you.
that's Joe Biden.
I know.
No, he is a puppet.
He is a puppet.
Fuck, you stole my job.
Whose hands in his
You're so
ass?
fast.
We don't take sides here.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no,
but no, Beau's been he was a child star making YouTube videos and playing the piano and stuff. But I think as he's grown, his like development has gotten a lot
Oh,
better.
unbelievable.
Sure.
His last special on Netflix, Inside,
Yeah.
is a complete masterpiece.
You can't even breathe between laughs because he just keeps going and he keeps saying something worse and worse and worse as it goes on. And I love him.
He learned how to edit. Like do all the video stuff. He
Yeah.
locked himself inside an apartment and lived off Amazon for a year.
Fuck, that sounds a lot like Eddie.
to make this special.
I am
It's
more
so-
than happy not going outside.
Why are you so tan? No,
We're born that way.
I know. That sounded very Lady Gaga from you.
Lady Gaga's good. I like it. I like
Oh,
this
God.
Lady Gaga.
Also, Lady Gaga, not funny.
No, not at all.
Not a comedian.
No.
Actually getting a role in the Marvel universe as well. They haven't said
gotta be something
what yet,
space related.
but I'm thinking Emma
Something
Frost.
space related.
Thinking Emma Frost with that blonde hair that she's rocking.
Emma
lately.
Frost's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I don't know where they stick her.
Yeah. Ian's like just on the center of my.
I know where I'd stick her.
Fucking so aggro. I'm so sick of you.
Sorry. But yeah, you should definitely check out Beau Burnham. He throws like music in there. He's pretty damn funny. I
He
mean,
tried to make us work out to Bill Burnham music.
I did. We did work out to Beau Burnham.
Oh my God.
That was difficult.
Yeah, it was?
That's hilarious.
He is. It
you're
is
trying to
trying to
laugh.
move
I'm
heavy
trying to
shit
focus.
while you're laughing.
Yeah, we're trying to focus here. He's like, lift 600 pounds. Also, listen to this joke. It's pretty fucking funny.
And no boundaries. Like he seems like a nice, like nerdy kid, but the shit he says, you're like, oh, that's over the line.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Because everything I say is
I
over the
think
line.
that's the best kind of comedy, though. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be able to laugh at yourself and laugh at the world around you. When people take themselves too seriously, I think it takes away.
Yeah.
When they start attacking comedians or when they're telling their jokes, like let them fucking live. You want to laugh? If you don't like it, don't fucking listen to
Yeah,
it.
it's a joke.
Oh, yeah.
That's the point.
All of the best comedians step over the line.
Yeah.
And it's finding a way to step over the line and then give an opinion that makes people laugh
Yeah,
when it's all said and
The
done.
first comedian that I noticed, like when I started listening to it, that really just would step over the line, and not give a fuck, was George Carlin.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember George Carlin going
master.
back before. He's one of the two comedians I consider to be the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I remember him back on. I hate this motherfucker, but I remember him back on Bill Burr's show, or not Bill Burr, Bill Maher.
Bill
Bill
on
Maher,
HBO.
yeah.
I was gonna say, man,
Yeah.
I love Bill Burr.
I was like,
Bill Burr's one of my favorite comedians. But
I was like, should I defend myself?
no,
now?
you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Bill Maher, who's a piece of shit. But back when he was not so political, he had. I remember George Carlin was on the show, and they were talking about the looting during the Katrina hurricane. And he was talking to some representative from down south, and I just remember George Carlin arguing that he had no problem with theft. this congressman from Louisiana was like, but what about the looting? And George Carlin was like, I have no problem with that. I loved him. I just loved everything he said.
Didn't he play a priest in Dogma?
Yes.
He was.
Which was
He was a
fucking
priest.
Great.
Yeah.
And
That was
he
a
was one of the
great
most
movie.
anti-religious
Yes, it was.
establishment.
He was fantastic
Oh my
in that movie.
When
Everyone
Dogma
was
came
fantastic
out,
in that.
everybody was either mad with the movie or fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I love
loved
Dogma.
it.
Buddy Jesus?
Yes.
I love Dogma.
Oh, I loved it.
When Alanis Morissette came out of the church as God, I lost my fucking mind. I was like, what?
Isn't it ironic?
Yes.
That wasn't supposed to be in the film. It turns out that Alanis Morissette actually is God.
Oh,
They just
there you
happened to
go.
film it.
There you go. Newsflash.
Yeah, that settles it.
Yeah. We'd like to apologize to all the Muslim people.
It's like rain.
I thought it was Morgan Freeman all this time. Fuck me.
That works. That works. He's never going to live that
I think he's played God more than anybody else.
yeah.
Probably, yeah.
That
Yeah.
narrator voice of his.
Yeah. And the hair. The hair. It's wild, but controlled.
Him and, what's the guy that played Darth Vader? James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mufasa. He's
The
also
nine- the
another
nine next yellow page
iconic.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you hear Darth Vader before they put James Earl Jones, they needed somebody to step in.
Oh, yeah. That
and
guy
speak.
sounded like Mike
Yeah.
Tyson with a ventilator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
not. It was not good.
All right. So you were talking about a controversial.
Oh, George Carlin used to say whatever, man. I mean, remember he was talking shit on Mickey Mouse the one time.
Yeah.
He said he was making fun of us because this country celebrates Mickey Mouse's birthday. he went on stage. He was like, fuck Mickey Mouse. He's like, fuck him in the ass with his big rubber dick. He's like, I hope he dies. He's like, I hope he goddamn dies. He's like, I hope he dies behind a building alone with his hand in Goofy's pants. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, he went on a rant for 5 minutes.
Going in.
He went on a rant for 5 minutes about how our country celebrates the birthday of an imaginary rodent. And I couldn't believe it. I was listening to this guy talk. I was like, this guy's a genius. Like, I love him.
I feel like half the stuff that he used to joke about, like, you can't even say anymore. Everything's so PC these days. You know?
Yeah.
True.
He
That's
was-
true.
He was anti-vaccine too, which wouldn't be popular
Yeah.
now.
But you know what? There's a lot of comedy movies that are like that. Like
Yeah.
if you go back and you watch Animal House,
Oh yeah.
half of the shit that you see on
There's
that
a-
movie, you're like,
There's a comedy.
you cannot do that.
Are you
anymore.
thinking about what I'm thinking?
You say
I'll say it. I'll
You're
say
more
it.
pale
I'm the
than
white.
I am.
I'm the white guy with the ponytail. I'll fucking say it.
Go ahead, say it.
Mel Brooks, comedic genius. He made a movie that will never fucking be made again.
I watched it three times this week.
Mr. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is in it. Gene Wilder, Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
That movie will never be made again. Ever. They couldn't even make Tropic
Why
Thunder
have they
again.
not
No,
canceled
they
it?
couldn't.
They couldn't make Tropic Thunder again. They'll never
How
make
have they
Blazing
not
Saddles again.
canceled Blazing Saddles yet?
Because
Like, there's
it's
no-
classified as like a classic.
But also, I don't think like the younger generation knows about that.
Listen,
No.
younger
It's
generation.
It's hilarious.
All you PC warriors, you need to look up
No.
Blazing Saddles.
No, we don't want it canceled.
No, look it up. Look it up.
No, look it up because you had an aneurysm.
That is a time period when
You're the
everyone
fucking
just
coronary.
had fun. Everyone just had fucking fun. They didn't give a shit. They just made a movie about what made people laugh. That movie
Almost lost a good
Right.
train cart.
yeah,
that movie will never be made again.
but like Porky's. Right? There's a whole scene
So
where
funny.
the guy like drills a hole into
For
the
his
women's
cock.
shower.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit anymore.
Dude.
You just
Yeah.
can't.
You're right,
Nerds,
Anna-
Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge
Yes.
of the Nerds.
Yeah.
All of those movies from that era, there was. If you go back and you watch them now, there is some terrible shit. We're like, that is not acceptable.
Fast Times at
nowadays.
Ridgemont High. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
comedies that aren't going to be made again.
But
They
what
just
it
can't.
does do is set a time period because at some point people thought that those things were acceptable.
Yep.
What the
They
hell was
were
that
funny.
comedy with Archie Bunker in it? What the hell was that comedy series?
The TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I mean, anything with
Oh,
Archie. Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Family Matters.
Yep.
No.
Really?
God damn it.
Yes.
Three's Company.
Oh
Three's
God.
Company.
Yeah, yes, their neighbor Urkel was a real pain in the ass to
Yeah.
Archie Bunker.
Yeah. Archie
He
Bunker
probably
was
would've been.
was just a rambling racist.
Oh, he was.
You watch clips from that show, you're like, Jesus Christ, that was
It's really bad. It's really bad.
And it's just a different time. I'm like,
It
what the
was.
hell? Like that was like literally mainstream.
know,
The thing is, back then, is that they're making fun of how racist people used to be.
Correct.
They're making so much fun of how disgusting people
Right.
used to treat other people, and that's what makes it funny because you're like, oh, these idiots,
Right.
you know?
And you shine a spotlight on it instead of hiding it in the dark, right?
yeah, because the new generation is not going to know how bad it really was because all that stuff's hidden now.
Right,
No.
right.
You-
Because they
you
don't
were
want to
able-
get
And they
offended.
can't- you can't
Yeah.
They don't want to get
appreciate-
triggered.
Yeah.
And it's like those are the things that you need to face in order to get over
Yeah,
it.
to
or
be able to
see
appreciate
it.
what you have now.
Because
too.
intention is what mattered back then.
Right.
The intention of the joke and of the show is what set whether it was acceptable or not.
You get shredded.
Nowadays, intention
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter to some people.
No, you said the word.
And they want to cancel you or shut you up and go against what a principle that we're built on, which is free speech.
Right.
Just because you don't like the speech doesn't mean it can't or should be shut up.
Poor Gina Carano, she got taken out of The Mandalorian. I'm just like, oh, how long is Bill Burr gonna last? How long is he gonna last?
And you can't replace Gina Carano in The Mandalorian.
You can't.
She had such a presence in the show.
They're gonna have to start the next season with like Cara Dune crashed her X-wing and died.
You know who they were gonna replace her with? Lucy Lawless. And you know what? I'm not even so mad at that, right? Because you can bring Xena in.
It's gotta be a big hairy clit monster woman, you know.
But I really like Gina Carano.
I mean,
as
I
a
could
person.
play the part.
You do look like Gina Carano.
I do not. I wish I
She said, "I do not."
Margo, do not.
did. If she had a primordial twin,
You know, like
in the womb,
What
that-
was that
I'd
movie
be-
Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
I'm a transgender Danny DeVito. That's what I am. So, if you watch my podcast, Jitzchickz, I mention that quite a bit.
And you should definitely check out Jitzchickz.
You definitely should.
Yes, we have a few episodes coming up soon. So,
There's some funny stuff on here.
Yes, very nice. And she said she's actually gonna punch a horse live on camera.
On camera.
Just for you.
Just for you
what
viewers.
is it with you and punching a horse?
You're the punching horses. I'm just bringing it
He's
up.
jealous of that. He's jealous. That's why he's.
Actually,
Yeah.
I don't get along with horses. Of all the animals
Because
that
you're jealous.
I'm around, never. I am man.
Anyway.
Tell her, Ian.
Why does Ian know? You're not even dead. He's in necrophilia.
I change things up every now and then.
Yeah. Spicy.
Spicy.
All right, so what about you? You got any controversial comedians, Margo, that you like?
Well, besides Louis C.K., like you said, I like Mitch Hedberg. I love Stephen Wright. Very dry humor, old school. I'm really into all the podcasts now with Chris DiStefano and Cheeto Santino and and Bobby and Bobby Lee and Theo Vaughn is one of my favorites.
Theo Vaughn is hilarious.
The rap
Oh,
dude,
he's
yeah.
so
Bobby Lee,
genius.
for some reason, Bobby Lee's either I'm laughing hysterically
Or bored.
or I'm like, please, somebody help this man.
Yeah.
I just it's completely hot or cold with Bobby
Just
Lee.
depends on his mood. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tom
at least-
Segura has a good podcast too.
And with Bert Kreischer and
Yes.
I love all
What
them.
the hell's it called? It's like
Two bears, one cave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, but Tom Segura has one where he's on there with some girl.
Your mom's house. It's his wife.
that's just some girl. You mean the famous comedian that's his wife, Christina Pazzitzky.
Yeah, who's
Wow.
also very, very funny.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like
she's
her.
hilarious.
I'm not a big
Yeah.
female comedian person, but I like her.
Well, for female comedians, if you haven't listened to Ali Wong, she is fucking
Her last
hilarious.
special was fantastic.
I just want a female comedian that doesn't just talk about her vagina all day long.
So then,
No one
not
cares.
Ali Wong.
like be funny. I'll listen to. I mean, I like that stuff. I think it's
Right.
funny, but like I would like to hear of a female comedian that's actually funny and talks about other stuff besides like terrible sex with men, because that's all that it is anyway. But you know,
Ed, what? Weigh in.
yeah.
I've never had any complaints. So I don't know who you're talking
No,
to.
Ed hasn't had any complaints because he hasn't had any. But
What the fuck are we doing here?
Ed is very submissive in case anyone wants to know.
What is this? What are we doing?
But
we doing?
I would like to have a female comedian who's like funny, who's actually funny. Like Nikki Glaser, I like her. She's funny, but all she talks about is like her bad sexual
Yeah,
experiences.
she's
Like,
very
that's fine for the first
self-deprecating.
6 years, but
Yeah, after that, you got to
and I like
switch it up a little
self-deprecating. That's
bit.
fine. I like that too. But like, come up with like, tell funny stories like some of the regular comedians, the
Yeah.
famous comedians. It would be awesome. I would love to see that.
I like Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
Oh
I like
my
Joey
God.
Diaz.
Controversial, but
Oh my God,
he's
just
real.
disgusting.
He is one of the
He's
funniest
really real.
goddamn guests
So
my
gross.
that Joe ever has on.
But you
Oh
know
my
what? His
God.
podcast is really dope too, because sometimes he takes a more serious tone.
Yeah.
But he always is real about the subjects.
I
I like the fact that
When
he
he talk-
kidnapped somebody and then he tried to bring him onto the podcast. He's like, I didn't want to come on my podcast. Like, bro, you kidnapped him.
When he talks about when he farted on the subway and he woke up that heroin addict. Dude, I couldn't breathe. I was crying. I was fucking crying
when he starts yelling into the mic, I love it. He goes
him.
He gets super angry and he's just like, and he's going in. I was like, that's some Joey Diaz right
he
there.
told that story.
So he's so gross.
He says he was young, he was a kid, and he was on the fucking subway going between Jersey and New York. And he's like,
Did he make someone cry or something?
There's a guy that the junkies used to ride this train. They would like shoot up and then they'd pass out. And I know he came back to heroin. And he said this guy was out. Dude. He said this dude shot up, passed out like he was drooling. He said, like, I had to fucking fart. He's like, my stomach was hurting. Like, I knew it was going to be bad. He's like, and I saw this guy directly across from me. He's like, so I, like, tilted my ass. He's like, the way Joey says it, it's ridiculous. He's like, if I had a scope on my nuts, he's like, that would have went right down his throat. He said, so he farted. He said he farted. He said it was bad. He's like, his stomach pain disappeared, like, with the fart. He knew he sent the evil out. He said, literally, it took like 10 seconds. He said, but this guy, like, the drool was coming out of his mouth. He said, almost when the guy started to blink. He his eyes. He says he like sat up and like looked. He says he looked around the train and he said he wasn't even quiet. Like he didn't give a shit who was on the train. He was like, man, he's like, I ought to beat the shit out of whoever farted this motherfucker. He said him and his little friends were laughing his ass. Like, I was like, God damn, dude. I was gonna throw up. I was laughing so hard at that story. That was so bad.
What do you have to eat to get like that?
Oh, Joey?
It can't be good.
No.
He was notorious for eating shitty and taking and doing a lot of drugs.
Oh man, he did so much coke. He did so much coke.
So that rots your fucking stomach. It's got to do some nasty shit
you,
to
drugs
you.
creates creativity.
He's doing good for himself now. That he's like he does a lot of
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. He's staying in shape. Joey's
It's so funny that like he does jujitsu and Theo Von does jujitsu and
I think
Theo Von is like at every UFC.
Yeah.
Him and Dustin Poirier are like this. And I remember like the one
he wants to blow him.
dude, the one UFC fight, Theo Von went to Michael Chandler's after party. Like, and he brought some of Dustin Poirier's hot sauce and hid it. Like,
that's
He
great.
is such a
and
genius.
Michael Chandler
Theo Von's
made this video where he found the hot sauce and threw it away, but then he felt bad. He made another video where he took the hot sauce out of the trash can. He actually put it on something he was eating and go wing, and then he ate it and he goes, the hot sauce is pretty fucking good. He's like, fuck Dustin Poirier.
That's a good sport.
That's funny.
So.
I think they're all doing jiu-jitsu because of the two alpha males in their
Because
team.
of Brendan Schaub, yeah.
Brendan Schaub and Joe Rogan. Those are their,
Yeah, of
those
course.
are their guys. So those are the
Which
people
is
that
great.
they're going to aspire to be. So, you
Yeah.
know. And
It's
you know
awesome.
what? To be fair, we love jiu-jitsu. We all do jiu-jitsu here. So once you get involved with choking people out, it's a fucking good time.
Didn't Demi Lovato?
Yes.
Lovato does jiu-jitsu.
Even fucking Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves does it?
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher.
And we don't talk about Ashton Kutcher.
Who's the guy that lost a shit ton of weight? He was in Superbad. He was in Wolf of Wall Street.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, Jonah Hill.
Jonah
Yeah,
Hill?
he's so adorable.
Yeah.
I love him.
And he's serious about it too. Jonah Hill's really dove
Really
into
into
it.
it.
So
I love it.
Jonah Hill, Ian challenges you to a fight.
no, I had no problem with you, Jonah Hill.
Set it up
Also,
for next
Jonah's
Saturday.
a white belt, so calm down.
But
if
Steven
you-
Seagal.
But also,
Yeah.
Ian can't fight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Call out Steven Seagal
I don't need to
before.
know how to fight to beat Steven Skull.
Guys,
Where you at, Steve? Where are you at, Steve? The challenge is still on the table.
Bring your beads, bitch.
That's right.
Steven Seagal.
Your ponytail against my ponytail.
I don't know who's going to win that.
Oh,
Exactly.
man. All right, so let's jump out of comedians and let's jump into a different subject for comedy.
Heroin? Again?
Wait, I am home.
on a very special episode of Sofa Kingdom.
Heroin and why it's bad.
We all just sleeping on the couch.
Or, yeah,
An hour and 15 minutes.
yeah.
Oh, this is
Which would
bad.
probably be more interesting.
I would actually watch a
Then
podcast.
Eddie's stories about Bitcoin.
Oh, he's ODing.
Look at that one, Twitch.
I'll try to rope it back in.
Okay.
TV sitcoms, and you cannot say Seinfeld, okay? We'll start with you, Margo, because you probably don't have any good sitcoms on the top of your mind right now.
Sitcoms. I'm not a big sitcom
Yeah,
person.
me
I
either.
don't
But
know.
I can pick
I
one.
work. I have a real job, so,
Yo, so
I'm
you've
busy.
never seen a fucking sitcom?
I'm busy, and then I train jiu-jitsu at night.
So in your youth, you didn't watch any funny TV shows growing up as a tinier version
like-
of yourself?
if you want to know how old I am, Fresh Prince. No.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Fresh
No,
Prince
that's
is
No,
good.
but I don't know. I mean, some sitcoms, it just depends. I get into stuff and then I forget about it after a
Okay,
while.
all right.
Absolutely Fabulous. Love that show.
I don't
even know
like
what
the shit
fuck
with
that
the
is.
studio.
I've never even heard of that.
No, it's an old
I
lady
know who
show.
does. Ian, what's absolutely
Ooh,
fabulous?
Will and Grace.
I don't know. I don't like any of the. See, sitcoms I wasn't big on because I don't like the fucking studio laughter. I don't like
Yeah,
the, like,
just
Okay,
never-
what about like
your favorite character walks and everybody goes.
What about like The Office? Would that be considered a sitcom?
Yeah, that's
That's
The
a sick-
Office,
Yeah, that's actually good.
I thought
Office
The Office
is funny.
was fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
They-
I love
they-
The Office.
I lived in Pennsylvania, so the
Same.
archetypes of those people that were on the screen, I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I know these
I'm
motherfuckers.
from Philadelphia,
That
so
is-
yeah.
So, right?
Yeah.
When you
That
can
is
watch
Scranton.
and you can be like, yo, I've seen
can't tell by the
those
accent?
people.
That's Scranton. That's Scranton.
That's
Yeah.
Scranton, Penn, for sure.
Yeah, you work in
Yeah.
an office long enough, you run across those people.
Yes, yes.
I work in
yes.
an office, and that's all how they all are.
All right, so we can agree The Office. Fresh Prince was a good one. That's
Yeah,
not
I
a
mean,
bad
it's
one.
old,
It's not a
but-
throwaway. I mean, Fresh Prince, he did it. I mean, he's getting trashed now
Yeah.
by Jada Pinkett Smith to the point where people are signing
can-
a petition.
Can
have
she
something to say
stop
about that.
throwing the poor man under the bus?
Like,
have
she's
something to say about
shitting
that.
on
Like-
him hard. Go for it.
So
Hello,
everyone always
Pardon me?
Because
I'm here too, guys. I have a voice. Just happens to be lower than all yours.
someone give Will
I have-
Smith a safe word already? Because I mean, Jesus Christ, she
Pineapple.
just keeps stepping on him hard.
She had an entanglement with August.
Yes, and in
Okay,
entanglement.
the entanglement.
Yeah.
First of all,
Must be pretty
everyone's
big for
always
an
feeling
entanglement.
bad for Will Smith, and she cheated on him and all this stuff. They had an open relationship. Why does nobody talk about the fact that they had an open relationship for years? They've been sleeping with other people for years. Eventually,
Part of that is one said it was an open relationship, and the other disagreed.
They
on
talked about it in interviews years
on one
ago.
of the things
Right.
I seen. But I think part of it is
don't know.
also the way she's airing their business.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's like it's one thing if you have whatever you got going on behind the scenes, but to be putting it all out there publicly like that, it really. I mean, honestly, it looks bad on her
Yeah. it
more
does.
Yeah,
than it
she
does
looks
on
dumb.
him. But
She made Hancock cry.
You just wanted to say cock.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But you know what? You know what it is too. Will Smith is kind of like a beloved character,
Yeah.
personality out there. So Jada Pinkett Smith, she's up there with her celebrity status, but people are gonna side with who they like, and she made him cry on TV.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
people love Will Smith since The Fresh Prince.
Right.
From that episode where they go hard and he's crying about his father stepping away.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like, "All right, we like him. We're on board. We're gonna follow what he's doing," and everybody's been on board since.
Sure.
Let's be honest. Jada Pinkett Smith, she's been a little back and forth. She tried to do some heavy metal music. I was like, fucking stop that, please.
Only movie I liked her in was Set It Off.
Yes, she did have a. You
I
look
like her in that.
confused.
I
She
like-
did have a heavy metal album.
I know. I am. Very
So did Ice-T. So did Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, but Ice T's was good.
A Cop Killer was a good song. That's right. The
Margo,
white guy
back
said
to
that.
heroin bands. Did you like Ice-T?
Yeah, my mom is in love with Ice-T. My mom, huge crush. She still does. And did I say this the last podcast? My mom got drunk one day at my house and recited every lyric from beginning to end of the entire album of The Chronic.
You did not, and that's amazing.
My mom is way cooler than I'll ever be. Jimi Hendrix is still
Can
my
we
favorite.
get her on the podcast?
Yeah.
We should bring. We need to bring my mom on the podcast. My mom's way cool. My dad is. His humor is way worse than my. I crossed the line way further than it ever should be crossed, and
Yeah.
he's far worse than me.
That's
Far worse. My
that's
dad's
great.
going to be on one of my next podcasts. We talked about it already.
Nice.
So
That's what's up.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got The Office. We got Fresh Prince. Any other candidates up there?
But Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Parks and Rec wasn't bad.
Love
The
Chris
beginning seasons I liked a little bit more than some of the later seasons, but it
Mm-hmm.
had some shining moments throughout. I enjoyed it.
I like either ones where you have to sit and actually pay attention and watch, or ones that are terrible that you can just put on in the background and just turn your brain off, like Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can just turn your brain off and go, yes, funny people, do something.
Yeah. Make me laugh, bitches.
Make me laugh.
We were talking about
Chester.
Reno 911 too.
Yes.
Oh, Reno 911 is
So
fantastic.
funny.
Officer
Oh,
Dangle.
it's so funny.
Yeah, those shorts.
And
they're
I
like,
can't
they're
even-
not regulation. You stay.
I I can't even repeat my favorite part of all the Reno 911s, but I'll tell you about it later. Oh, they are hilarious.
Yes,
so hilarious.
that was another good. So
Trudy
there
is
are
my
some
favorite.
pretty good sitcoms. And you know what? Some of the actors that came out of Reno 911 went off to do other things,
you
and I
just put
think they
nuts in your
did so
mouth?
successfully.
Are you
You
chewing
know,
into the microphone?
he does every single podcast. People actually ask for it. They're like,
They
"Can
do.
Ian chew a little louder?"
It's like one of those porno things.
Yeah, ASMR.
ASMR. Ian chewing and farting. And Nelson queefing.
No, I do not queef.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We were training the other day and I heard something. Didn't come out of the back end.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so we can step away from sitcoms then. Let's jump into some movies then.
Okay.
What about
Each of us picks like an all-time great comic.
all-time great comedy movie?
Not Blazing Saddles.
Ed,
All
Go for
time
it.
great.
Everyone's
You know what? I
gonna hate me.
actually just recently rewatched. Shit. Now I'm drawing a blank on the name.
oh, Beaches. You were telling me the other day.
Oh
with
yeah,
Bette Midler.
everybody loves Beaches. What the
Yeah.
fuck is Beaches?
Oh, no. Birdcage.
Birdcage, yes.
I just never knew John Wayne walked like that.
Birdcage is funny. Oh,
It is. Wait, do you like how he did this when he said birdcage is funny? All of a sudden the hands go up.
He had an idea. I love how he agreed with you. He's like, oh yeah, Beaches. What the fuck?
oh shit! What's
The
the
movie
one
was
with
so good he can't remember the name.
what's the one with James Franco and
This is the
Pineapple
end.
Seth
Express?
Rogen?
The interview?
Well, this is the end. Was one we were talking about earlier today.
Pineapple Express.
No, not Pineapple. It's the one with where they're making fun of Korea.
The interview.
The
Interview.
interview.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just rewatched that. It was
Yeah,
so funny.
That's one I recently rewatched.
Oh, it's
And-
so
You
good.
remember how much fucking controversy was behind
Oh,
that
yeah.
movie? Like Kim Jong-un was like, I will go to war with you if you release it.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody had the balls
With
to put
what?
it in the movie
With
theaters.
what? With what
Nothing.
missile program? What are you gonna
the
get?
ones we gave them.
You have 10,000 Koreans shooting the fucking slingshot.
They all
Get
got the
fuck
same
outta
fucking
here.
haircut. What the
With
fuck?
what? With what?
They all have, except for his. He's the only one allowed to have his haircut.
Yeah.
How many F-22 Raptors does North Korea have again? Oh, none? Oh, that's right. Stealth fighter plane that goes to space. Maybe you've heard of it.
I remember
don't
that
fucking
when the movie was coming
Also,
out,
Steven Seagal.
and then the movie was being
He's
canceled,
challenging everybody.
and then the day it was supposed to be released in theaters, it was canceled, and then they just released it to all the streaming platforms at once. They just went, "Fuck it," and I went and I bought it
Yeah, so did
just
I.
just to be like, "Fuck it, buying it."
I had
Give-
to see
Oh,
what
so
the
good.
hype was all about.
It's the
and it
only
was
digital
good.
movie I purchased. Still the only one.
That and Debbie Does Dallas. So he has those two on his resume there. Ian, well, you're eating. So what
Oh, I
about
can
you,
still
Margo?
talk. I can
Everyone's
still
gonna
talk.
hate me. Everyone's gonna hate me for this.
I doubt that.
And
I don't know.
I'm also
I don't know.
old.
It's-
I'm old once again.
It's debatable.
I really don't watch a lot of movies anymore. I'm just done with the PC bullshit these
Right,
days.
right.
I mean, I like stuff like Superbad and funny stuff like that, but I love like old school Jim Carrey movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar, Cable Guy is so underrated.
Classics.
Oh,
Cable Guy was
yeah.
So
great.
funny. Any Ace Ventura, Pet Detectives, I love all
Yep.
those. I have a
Legendary.
best friend who's in the military, so he travels around a lot. We get to see each other like once every 2 years or something. And I just recently saw him. He was down here, and we go through all our text messages, pages and pages. All it is me random times a day or him random times a day, just texting each other like a quote from like Liar Liar the other day or whatever. The other day, I was talking about somebody that like, I walked in somewhere and like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, everybody really likes you" or something like that, and I was like, "That's because your boobs are huge." Like, so it's like every quote like is
good quality
related
to
to
have,
our
yeah.
like he knows what kind of day I'm having and what's going on in my life if I just use like any Jim Carrey quote.
That's what's up.
Liar Liar is
It
unbelievable.
was so good.
Oh,
that
it's so
that
good.
and Bruce Almighty.
Well, the elevator
Yeah.
scene in Liar Liar
Yeah.
with the lady
Yeah.
was locked in there. Fucking great. But you know what I liked about Jim Carrey? It was Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Yes.
Yes.
I love
That
that.
movie, I think, is underrated. Fucking great. The opening
he's
line
good
about Valentine's Day.
Yeah, he's good at being serious. He's good at being.
But
funny,
it's
you know.
not it's not often a surprise when someone who's good at comedy is also good at doing serious roles.
Robin Williams.
And it's often said that doing comedy is harder to do than a serious
Steven
role.
Seagal.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, he's he's
I just got the dirtiest look.
clearly classically trained Steven Seagal. I mean,
Steven Seagal.
you believe every movie he's in.
Technically, Steven Seagal is one of the greatest comedians of all time.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious.
But you know, Jim Carrey and I'd say Mike Myers are two, like they're on that same pedestal where they're like
miss
they're
Chris Farley,
funny,
too.
they're intelligent, and they also have that what do you call that? You know, their body. They throw their whole
Very
body,
physical.
Yeah.
comedy into their art. You know, Dr. Evil,
I think
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
You know,
I still love
the actor that kind of completely transcended his comedic performances and really made me believe the serious roles. Like it was probably Robin Williams.
Yeah,
Like, if you
Yeah.
watch, if you watch
Oh,
him,
yeah.
if you watch him in Good Will Hunting,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
unbelievable.
He was a beast.
Unfucking believable.
And
performance.
what's the movie where he plays the kid doctor, the Patch or something?
Patch Adams?
Patch
Adams,
Adams.
Yep,
Yeah.
true story.
Yeah.
I cried that whole movie.
Oh, dude. I can't.
It wasn't a
dude,
comedy?
I can't even watch the part in Good Will Hunting where Robin Williams confronts Matt Damon about his childhood trauma. I can't even watch it. I can't. No, it's not your fault. I can't even watch that part.
I have
If it's
not-
on, I just walk out of the room. Like, nope, not doing that today.
I have
Nope.
not seen that movie.
Watch Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, it's good.
It's,
You're gonna
It's
cry.
a great movie.
You're gonna cry,
Yeah,
but I want to
check
let
it
you know you're not a pussy. It's me too.
Yes, he is.
Don't worry
He
about
is.
it. No, I'll defend you. No, don't listen to her. You're not a pussy.
Thank you.
We're not.
So it's
You
just
can't
that one
defend him.
and Bambi. Those are the only two.
Bambi.
that I
Yeah.
Bro, I cried in Lion King like a year ago, and it was at a
Mufasa.
weird part. No, it wasn't at the part. It was a weird fucking part. It was
one
like the
was it?
part where like Simba and Mufasa, like Simba had just gotten in trouble for going to the elephant graveyard.
Right.
And he comes back and he's about to get his ass whipped by fucking Mufasa. Mufasa's over there sitting in the dark, just sitting there. And like the bird, toucan or whatever, leaves him. He's like, all right, go.
Iago?
Oh my god.
Yep. No. Zazu.
I'm checking your Disney.
Zazu.
Checking your Disney.
Zazu's like, all right, go over there and get your ass
Yeah,
whooped.
yeah,
You know, he flies away.
Zazu.
And like he walks over and Mufasa doesn't discipline him. He's just like, I could have lost you today. You know? He's like, I'll always be your dad. And they start playing. I fucking lost it.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
It made no goddamn sense. It made no sense. And I think like Laura walked in. She's like, you know, like, what the fuck's the matter with you? I was like, I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even talk.
I think Ian didn't
Yeah, I
get
think
enough
you're
hugs when he was
PMSing.
younger.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's PMSing. We're on the
I
same
was
cycle.
lactating. It was real bad. I was off my steroid cycle.
Oh, that's probably what it is. What's the, you
apologize.
don't look like you're on steroids. Never mind.
Yeah, thanks.
So
Appreciate
if
that.
I had to pick a comedy movie, it's gonna be Step Brothers.
Yeah.
I loved
I
Step
rewatched
Brothers.
that recently.
I'm gonna
Two
go
of them
upstairs
together?
and put my nuts on your desk.
I love it.
He's like, did we just become best friends? I mean, there's so
I
many.
quote that all the time
You
too.
can call me Nighthawk.
But like Will Ferrell hasn't made any movies like that in a couple of
Old
years
school?
now. Like
Right.
it's
I love that movie.
fantastic, but
Old
it's
school
like
great. You tell him about this, I'll fucking kill you. And he's like,
he was
kidding.
he was kind of like the last one making comedy movies that were like that.
Yeah.
And there's really like from that last bit of stuff he did, there's really nothing in that comes into the same way they did comedy there.
I think a lot of people have just moved on to like epics. Everybody wants to do the next big trilogy. You know, they're not looking for like a one-off comedy that could potentially make it. They want to jump on bed with things like Marvel, which I'm all about, you know, or Dune, or, you know, big franchises. They don't want to take a risk anymore, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah, and even the most recent comedies, it's all the big names. It's Seth Rogen, it's James Franco,
Yeah.
it's Jonah Hill, it's everybody, Michael Cera, and they're all in the same movie, and everything is like a reference to like another movie that was funny, and
Right.
it's like joke after joke after joke, and it's funny, it's hilarious, but like it's not memorable. Like
Right.
you know, stuff that Jim Carrey said 20 years ago is still funny today.
Sure.
This stuff isn't, you know, it's funny while you're watching it, but
No, I agree.
a while, it's
I
like-
agree. But when you look at a
It's like
movie like,
hokey.
this is the end,
yeah.
Which is hilarious.
It's
I mean,
hilarious.
that was fucking great.
Can you
Where
quote
Jonah
anything
Hill,
from it?
where Jonah Hill is possessed by the devil. Oh my god! The power of Christ compels you. Oh, is it? Does it? Is it compelling me right now?
That's
That-
true.
The bed catches on fire. Dude, that thing, no.
He's like, what happened to my magazine?
The demons like walking. It's like got this giant cock. And that movie's so good.
That movie
Wait,
was
what's
great.
James Franco's brother's name? He's hilarious.
Isn't it Dave? Isn't it Dave?
I think
Franco?
it's
Dave
Dave
Franco
Franco.
in Bad Grandpa from Jackass guys, but like Bad Grandpa
With De Niro.
with De Niro was so funny. I thought it was funny. I thought he's really good too.
Yeah,
Isn't the girl that played Hermione Granger in This Is the End? Emma.
She is.
Emma Watson.
Yeah.
She's
They're talking about like
hilarious.
raping her or something. And she
Holy
takes all their
shit.
food.
She was so funny.
She's like, back the fuck up. She got a fire axe.
She was so
We
funny.
were just
in that.
kidding. We were.
That movie from
actually
start
good.
to finish had me
It is
fucking
good.
rolling.
Isn't Rihanna in it?
Yes.
At one point?
Yes.
There's a lot of people in it.
There's a lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot of cameos, and like to your point, that's what it was. It was just a bunch of big stars thrown in there, and then it was just reference after reference, joke after joke.
Yeah.
But that kind of movie that sold me. I enjoy that.
It is
They're never
funny.
gonna make this movie again, but to me, I'd say Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
That movie is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like the fact that Tom Cruise was in it and I didn't even realize till the second time I watched it is just a testament to how good that movie is. Oh my god,
Well, that's
it's so
like
good.
Steve Carell in Foxcatcher. I know
Yeah.
it's not a comedy, but
No, he did. He was
he was
owned
unrecognizable.
that
He was
role.
eerie.
Oh,
He was eerie, man.
I have trouble watching that movie, not only because he does so well and it freaks me out, but the fact that it's a real story freaks me out even more.
Yes.
And what's the wrestler's name?
Ooh.
He was such a champion.
No, it's the one that died
two
was
brothers.
Dave.
It was
Dave
brothers.
Yeah, what's
Schultz.
his name?
Dave
Dave
Schultz.
Schultz.
Yes, yes.
And
So-
his brother, Mark Schultz. Mark Schultz fought in one of the UFCs.
Yeah.
Mark Schultz actually has
Yep.
a win over Gary Goodridge
Nice.
Yeah.
because he was just that high level of a wrestler. He just walked into one of the competitions and won.
Yeah.
Bare knuckle, like
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But like just to watch the movie, and then I watched like a documentary on it, and they showed parts of the movie with Dave Schultz, you know, in real life, like
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
videos of him, and he always walked like so like bow-legged and funny, and like it's like a wrestler's walk. And now that my hip's bad, I'm like, okay, I get it now. So I always like he just walks funny. I guess I wonder if it's from like injuries or something.
Right.
Now I know.
Right.
This is the
But-
most comfortable way to walk now that everything hurts.
But what a prodigy when it came to wrestling
if
and
he,
stuff. It's just such a sad
yeah.
story.
Dave Schultz is one of the greatest American
Yeah.
wrestlers.
I
of
wonder
all
if he
time.
sat on Spider-Man pillows too.
He should have. He
Probably.
probably would feel better. Yeah, sad story.
I'll get a booster seat, I promise, for next
Very
time.
sad story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
What a good role.
Yeah,
what a good
it
role
really,
for him to
really was.
play.
The whole movie was really good. It was a tough watch at certain parts, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, movies like that are always good until you look at how many liberties they take with telling the actual story
Right.
accurately.
Mm-hmm.
Because then there's always the things that they change to make it more dramatic, whatever they want to do to.
You got to keep people's
sell the
attention.
actual-
That's in anything. So.
Yeah, and that's fine. I get that. But some of it's just like once you watch and then see, because some of them by the time they're done making it for Hollywood, you're like, well, this might as well have been a whole different story.
Hollywood
Yeah.
Why'd
fluffs it
they
up,
even use
yeah.
these people's names? They could have just said inspired by and not
Yeah.
use their, because
And
it's
not
a
use their
different
story.
thing than what actually happened by the time they're done.
I feel that way about the Johnny Cash movie, Walk the Line. I feel like they left out 90% of his life. Like, I hated that movie because there's so much other bad shit that happened to him in his life. Like, they try to make it sad like he had a tough life.
Right.
There's so much stuff that happened to him in real life that they don't even bring up in the movie. It's like not even, I don't know. It's
I
just
didn't
very
know that because I
anticlimactic.
loved the Johnny Cash movie. I thought it was like
Yeah. I
Joaquin
mean, it's-
Phoenix is one of his best roles, but I didn't know. Like I'm learning now, there was
Yeah,
more
so
backstory
much.
to it.
I
that
worked
they
for
could have added to
a
it.
record label. My cousin used to run AMC Records, and now he runs Sony Records in Nashville. He's like the
Nice.
head of all of it. So I worked for him, and I worked with a lot of like A&R stuff. Like I would help them find bands and whatever. And so a lot of my responsibility was to like learn about all the people who are on our label. And at the time, Johnny Cash was on our label, and so part of my job was like to research it and to
Right.
like get to know. So I like researched everything Johnny Cash, and his life was so much more interesting than that movie. I was like really disappointed, especially with June Carter and like the whole romance that he went through with her, and how she just said no to him for forever until the very end of his, until they got together at the very end. And
Right.
Didn't John C. Reilly make a comedy based off that?
Yes, Walk Hard.
Walk Hard.
Oh, yeah.
Dewey Cox story?
Yeah.
Dewey Cox story.
Bro,
Yeah.
how come you keep bringing it back to Cox?
I don't know. It always seems to be that
Oh
way.
yeah, he wants to.
He's like, who the hell is who's the black comedian that's always doing drugs in the closet in that movie? Every time Dewey opens the door, he's in there doing drugs. He tells him to get out of here. He's like, "Get out of here, Dewey! You don't want no part of this shit. We're doing uppers and downers." And he's like, "Give me that shit."
Oh man.
What the fuck is his name? I can't think of his name.
Half Baked.
Half
Oh,
I gotta just bring that up too.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
good.
I don't.
Oh, that's a
remember
great
the name
movie.
of
Baby
the
powder.
Yeah, that's a fucking great movie. Half Baked. The little Spanish guy in there. who was also on the Dave Chappelle show. He's like, I'm the manager now. She's
Yeah.
like, I need to speak to
I
your
love
manager.
him.
He got the Puerto Rican flag on his face and shit. I'm the manager. What, bitch?
Isn't Bob Saget in that movie? He's in the rehab.
Yeah.
He's like, you ever suck dick for coke? That's an addiction, man.
Bob Saget playing himself.
Yeah. I said to somebody the other day, my doctor said I need a backiotomy, and nobody knew what I was talking about. I was like, I'm peaked. I'm too old for this.
I miss high school.
Kids these days.
Half Baked was great. That's Dave Chappelle is in there.
Yep.
The other
Jim
clown,
Brewer.
Jim Brewer. Yeah, Jim Brewer. That's why I meant the other clown.
Dave Chappelle is the greatest in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he's the greatest comic of all time. It's
That's
my
it.
humble opinion.
Oh, and what's the other ones? I'm somebody's bitch. What's his name? Squirrel Master.
Yeah, I know you're
What is his name?
His name is Margo.
Thanks. I'm nobody's bitch. I wish I was. Call me.
That's fucking good.
Oh, man.
So Dave Chappelle, what makes you say that he's the greatest of all time?
I don't know. The things he's done. He's been funny ever since he first came out. The fact that he was on top of the world with Comedy Central, like
Yeah.
the #1 show on television, that huge contract, and he just
Chappelle
walked the
show.
fuck away from it.
Yeah.
Like when the creativity was being
Yeah.
being pushed, and he said he was staring at all that money. And he
You
just
can't say he doesn't have integrity for his art.
hell no. Yes, he's
Definitely integrity. Yeah.
and he doesn't give a shit, especially with all the shit that's being thrown at him now.
Yeah.
The way he's attacked, he still doesn't care. He dresses it head on.
Yep.
He's unapologetic, and
Yep.
I love Dave Chappelle.
He's definitely the champion, today's champion for the comedic world.
Yes.
For sure. He's not afraid to step out there and
I
do
think
his
it
thing.
also when you poll comedians, they generally unanimously say Chappelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, you have to go, well, they're kind of the experts, aren't they? And all the experts are saying that guy over there.
Yeah, but you know what? There's another guy, and who I would pick as my #1 comedian is Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
even though he hasn't put out a special in a really long time, a lot of his comedy stand-up still
Bro.
holds up to this day.
His
Yeah.
stand-up with him in the red jumpsuit.
Oh my god, man!
Where he talks about if Mr. T was gay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Hey boy, why don't you get over here and fuck me in the ass?
And he's got a lot of classic movies out there. You know, Coming to America.
Yeah.
You know, Coming to America too, not so much, but Coming to America. Trading Places.
Yeah.
Was another really big one that he was in. But,
He was in that cop movie with Nick Nolte too, like another 48 Hours. He was
Yeah.
in a
Oh
he was in a bunch of stuff.
yeah. They started that buddy cop genre, I would say, right?
Yeah, that's up for Smokey and the Bandit and that. I mean, there's a lot of early things like that. I mean, Chris Rock and Jackie Chan kind of brought it to the newer
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
But Eddie, I couldn't argue with Eddie. Eddie was
Newer
definitely
generation
funny.
was like 25 years ago.
Did I just date myself?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
That's all right, man.
You always only date yourself.
Damn.
Stop talking to him like that. Hey, it's okay. Don't worry. I'll sick her on you.
You defend him.
He's
You
right.
defend him. Yeah.
It's okay, baby. Don't worry. It's okay.
What about you, Margo? What would be your pick for like your favorite comedian, comedic actor, anything in general?
Of all time.
Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
Oh boy. I still think, like whatever, a lot of people, I'm not a big Bill Burr fan, but I feel like he does span a lot of different generations, a lot of different tastes in comedy.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people like him. I'm not a huge fan. I think he's funny, but I'm not really into it. But like anyone you ask is going to say Bill Burr.
Yeah.
I love Bill Burr.
He's got that anger. I love
Yeah.
the anger in his comedy.
See, his anger, like everyone's always like, loves his anger. And I'm like that all the time. So to me, it's not funny. To me, that's how I am all the look at this asshole. Every 3 seconds,
that's
that's
just
my
regular
life.
life.
Yeah, that's just regular life. So to me, it's like, okay, I just sound like I'm listening to myself talk.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to look up a thing that sums up Bill Burr, look up the Philadelphia rant. And I say,
Oh, yeah.
I say this as a fan of Philadelphia sports and being from around that area growing up. He shits on the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah. No, he goes in.
Yeah, he did a special there, and the crowd was very drunk and
Yeah,
very,
there was.
very
irate.
Philadelphia.
I was going to say it's very Philadelphia.
Very Philadelphian crowd.
I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
there was like several comedians that went up before him,
Right.
and they all
Bombed.
essentially got
Yeah.
Booed off the stage.
booed off.
The
bombed.
crowd just started bullying them.
Right,
Yeah.
they were a bunch of assholes,
And
basically being
Bill
Philadelphia
went
fans.
out there and just laid down the law.
As soon as they started to boo him, He did his whole set.
Yeah.
And he would count out how many minutes are left. You all need to look this up. It's the greatest rant ever. He literally goes, 7 minutes! I got 7 minutes left with you fucking people. And he rips them apart. He's like, your subway smell like piss. This was back when Don McNabb.
I hope you all die of cancer.
Dude, yeah.
Not the good one. He was fucking.
He's like, dude, he said, this is back when Don McNabb was still the quarterback for the Eagles. He said, I hope McNabb snaps both his fucking ankles the first play. He's talking about how the Philly outfit was stupid. And he ripped the whole city apart. He's like,
and you know what? But they started respecting him and laughing.
The claps got louder. The more vicious he became.
Funny.
Yeah.
And he did his
even
whole
people
set.
from Philly hate Philly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He did his whole set and just ripped the whole fucking city
So
apart.
funny.
It's a beautiful thing.
Ed, what about you?
I think for me, if you're going back to like favorite comedians, I think I got to go with George Carlin. Yeah. Even now, even some of his oldest, 10, 15, 20 years ago, even some of that still holds up and is, unfortunately, I would say, relevant to nowadays.
Still relevant. Yeah, especially now with politics these days.
Yeah, which is really scary when you're like, this is something he said 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And if he would have said it today, it would be just as impactful as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But the one where he talks about how you're not free, you're all getting fucked. The way he breaks it down, it's like a 10-minute bit, but he breaks it down to the point where you're like, God damn, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. He says how he never got vaccines because he swam in the Hudson River as a kid. He said my immune system is tempered in raw shit.
And
It's a valid point.
I think you also
I'm immune.
You also have to consider he put a special yearly.
Right.
So when everybody else was doing like 1 or 2 specials and that was it, he was putting out a special every single year.
Right.
And he did that for multiple years. Nobody was doing that until
at that time.
Yeah, and it wasn't even until after his time, after he passed away, that you had other comedians that finally stepped up and were putting in the work to put out a special every year to 2 years.
I liked his idea of putting public executions on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
He said, "You want to boost revenue for your state?" He's like, "Fire a convict out of a cannon at a brick wall." He's like, "You'll order it, so will I." I was like, "Fuck yeah, I would."
Oh man.
Big old circus cannon.
Yeah.
Aim it right at a brick wall and just fire him out of it.
I mean, they're kind of doing it now with anybody who fights Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's true. That is
Basically
true.
a public execution, or I mean, you got to get a finger tattoo to fight the guy again.
Oh, did you hear? Did you hear that Jake Paul's not fighting Tommy Fury
No,
anymore?
he's out.
He's fighting Tyrone Woodley again.
Yeah, I
Again.
think Jake Fury
Really?
was saying
Again.
that his ribs, he was having rib issues.
Yeah, it's
and that he
it's
can't
a shit
fight.
show.
But I don't think he wanted to do the fight.
So we get to watch Jake Paul win again. Yay.
Yeah, but now the stipulation is if he gets knocked out by Tyrone Woodley, he'll give him like
$500,000.
$500,000. So I mean,
Which
there
is-
is incentive there for him.
I
to
mean,
do
but
it.
$500,000 to him is essentially nothing.
Yeah, I lost all faith in Tyrone. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no,
I'm
he
not gonna lie.
hasn't been delivering lately. I don't know what's happened to him, but he lost his.
The man got a
fire.
tattoo on his finger that says "I love Jake Paul."
Well, that makes
Why
two
do
people.
women like Jake Paul and Logan? They're not good looking at all. But
They're
women
rich.
are like,
Logan's
Money.
not
but
They
bad.
even
got money.
so, no, but even
Logan's
before,
not bad.
even before that,
He's like, Logan's not bad.
Logan's not bad.
Well, even before that,
even
they had
before
money.
they were rich. No, I mean,
They were. They're celebrity, right? Women, men,
Yeah, but-
whatever.
Well,
they're
Jake was
attracted to
on
celebrity.
Jake was on
early-
Mickey Mouse Club, wasn't he? He was like a Disney
Yeah, I
kid.
guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, Logan's just
He was just hanging out with
yeah.
his brother.
he was just a Vine star, like
Yeah.
a YouTube star.
I'm starting to really like Logan Paul's podcast, though. They had like Brendan Schaub and people like
He
that on
does
there.
have good guests on.
Yeah, they do get really funny stuff.
Okay,
The
I haven't,
podcast, I
haven't
do
really.
I like Logan more than
Yeah,
I
no, I-
like Jake.
I do too.
Jake makes my skin move a little more. I don't like him.
He's a little douchey,
Yeah, a lot of douchey, and I don't know. He
which women you should douche. So.
should. He should.
Oh wait, I'm a comedian talking about my vagina again.
Yeah, way to go,
How
Margo.
fucking original!
Wow, thanks. Way to bring
Wow,
down the room.
that wasn't coming.
Wow.
Yeah, you just
I'm
turned off all the male listeners.
I'm hilarious.
Let's talk about heroin again.
All right, so since we're talking about podcasts, what about a comedy podcast? What's a good comedy podcast that you guys listen to that you would recommend? I'll start first. I'll go with the fighter and the kid.
Love
I listened to them for years. I like Brian Callen. I like Brendan Schaub. I even liked when Brian Callen left for a little while and they brought in the kids with a Z.
Yep.
And they had the crew there with Chin and what's the other
Nick.
chick? What's her name?
Kat.
Kat. Yes. So I like them. I like what they do. A little bit of fight, talk, sport. The only time I drown out is when they talk about sports. They bring in people and they're like, oh, we're going to do this sports episode. And if it's not fighting sports, I don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah,
I don't hear about football. I don't hear about basketball. I don't hear about baseball. That shit is boring.
I love when like Chris D'Elia makes fun of Brian Callen.
Yes.
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Man Dragon.
Sweet tart ass.
Chris D'Elia's impersonation of Eminem, I had to pull over my car.
So
Oh, did you see
good.
the
I had to
video?
pull over my car. Yeah.
So
You saw
good.
the video he did with Eminem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
when
my
Eminem-
God, I died.
He thought he was. Chris D'Elia
Congratulations, his podcast.
Chris D'Elia tells the story about how he thought he was going to die because he put out that video making fun of Eminem.
Yeah.
And then he got a notice, like Eminem's people reached out to him and said
Yeah.
Eminem wanted to meet him and talk to him.
Yeah.
And they sent a car for him, and he was like, "Oh fuck!" Like,
You know that was
So
deliberate,
funny.
right?
He thought he was
Eminem
gonna-
had to be like, I'm going to fuck with this guy.
but when he went over there, Eminem like said he was a big fan of the video,
Oh,
and he
so
said,
funny.
I want you to work with me," and then that's why he,
That's why he got the
So
thing.
funny.
And even at the end of his one song Godzilla, the music video, he even says at the end, he says, "Look what I'm planning." Like he uses one of Chris D'Elia's, like it's so good. It's so, yeah.
That's fucking dope. Yeah, I like the fighter and the kid. What about you, Ian?
I don't listen to a lot of comedy podcasts, but Your Mom's House.
Your
That's one.
mom's, that's the one I was going to pick.
That's the one Tom Segura said.
It does get really strange at times, especially when she starts going into her TikTok pics and all those kind
But
of
it's
things.
so good though.
It's-
when he plays those videos from the internet,
Yeah.
and has people watch them, they're fucking ridiculous.
Some of it is hard cringe.
He will show people.
It's really some of it is
He will
really
show-
hard
he will-
cringe.
He will show people getting so badly hurt on these videos, and it's fucking
I mean,
hilarious.
how many times did he show himself with his arm broken,
Oh yeah.
facing in the other direction from when he fell
that's a
off the
hard- yeah,
trampoline?
that was a hard
Oh,
injury.
yeah.
That was a hard
They were
injury to
talking.
watch.
They were talking about how they were drunk at a pool or something, like a public pool, and he had just posted a TikTok, something about his balls or his dick or something, and all these little girls, like 12-year-old girls, were like making a TikTok, and they're like, "Oh, cool, we're on TikTok too. Check out our TikTok," and then walked away, and they're like, "Oh shit, think about the video we just posted. We just told a bunch of 12-year-old girls to follow us."
Oh, that's fucked up.
And he's like, "Delete the TikTok."
One of Tom Segura's greatest like bits ever was when he did that bit on Scared Straight.
Yeah.
Yes.
That show that like they just take kids and drop them off like bad kids. They would drop them off.
I feel like they should be much meaner to those
Dude,
kids.
they
by
used
the
to
way.
they used
Oh,
to air
yeah.
that on. He would talk about how crazy it was that they would air this on TV. Like,
Yeah.
you could watch it like at 5 o'clock.
I remember when they used to air it on TV.
I remember it too. Yeah,
still watch the
MTV.
reruns.
It was on MTV and it was fantastic.
But I think that's what took away the sting to a lot of these kids because they seen it on TV, so they're like, they know what they're there
They're not
for.
going to actually get hurt.
Yeah, we're not going
It's
to be
about-
really scared. We're going to be a dick, and they can't really touch us.
He talks about that episode where they said there was a kid with like a bowl cut in like a federal prison.
Yeah.
Like the guy makes him hold his pocket. He's like,
Yeah.
hold my pocket. Like and the
One
kid's
of the guys
walking
got his
around
shoe
holding
stolen.
his pocket. And he said he's screaming. This giant fucking guy is screaming in this kid's face on national TV. He's like, "I'm gonna make you suck my dick for breakfast." And the kid's like,
How is this legal?
I don't like breakfast. I don't like it. The guy's like, "I'm gonna mush your motherfucking face in."
I'm a lunch guy. I'm a lunch guy.
He's like, "You could never play that today. You could never."
Yeah, because I think they only went to like prison, like jails,
Yes.
Yeah.
originally.
And that was a federal.
And this episode, they went to like a federal penitentiary
With
instead.
with
And
monsters.
these guys, they didn't do the no touch. Like, no, you're coming here. And he made them literally walk around with him holding his pocket. Like he was his
Yeah.
prison bitch
Yeah.
while he was giving his speech
Yeah.
to the rest of the kids.
And he talks about the guy that came out first, Crazy Chris. He was doing fucking 4 life sentences. He's like, this guy was so bad that when he dies, he's gonna get reincarnated, and that guy's doing like,
Plot twist: all those kids are in prison.
dude, fuck, the show is so good. Oh my gosh,
Oh, that's fucked up.
Tom Segura is hilarious. He's
So,
another
your
fun
mama's house, your mama's house.
I like all the usuals: the King and the Sting, all the guys that connect. The Cheeto Santino
Yes.
one.
All the people that popped off of Joe Rogan's
I like
podcast.
the
Yeah.
King
And
and the Sting because they go in on each other
Yeah.
Yes.
and
The
other people.
roasts Oh my god, you
roasting
look like
is
you work at
fucking
Nordstrom
hilarious.
Rack doing tires. Oh, I fucking love it. I love how he roasts Brendan Schaub. It's so good.
They
You look
got,
like
like the flaunt my
you
arm.
look like he gets stung by a
you
bunch
know-
of bees.
You know, he hurt Brendan a couple of times before Brendan finally started catching up.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
oh yeah.
He's still catching up. Let's be honest.
Those first couple of episodes, he was really hitting them hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Brendan was playing catch up for a while.
Yeah, he still is.
Yeah, he's probably still like practicing in the mirror at home. Like, I got some for you, Theophon.
Theo's good.
Theo
Yeah,
is
if you haven't,
such
if you
a
haven't,
genius.
yeah, if you haven't seen his new one, Regular People on Netflix, oh my
Yeah.
god, that's good.
Yeah.
He's like, we were in LA last week. He's like, my cousin got bit by a gay dude, and he's like, and he just stops and he goes, so we'll see what happens.
I love him. There's another joke of his that I can't say now, but
Said a guy jumped out of a bush in LA. He was dressed as a deer, and he bit his cousin on the back.
for a Halloween
Yep,
costume.
yep. He said so. He's like, we'll see what happens.
So good.
Oh fuck!
I
That's
love also History of Hyenas, Chris DiStefano's old podcast with Giannis Pappas. It's an old one. They talk a lot about history, but they're so funny. Like every episode, they're like cute about something. And now he's got a new one, Christie Comedy. He's got another one with Sal from
Impractical Jokers.
Impractical Jokers. Hey Babe. It's so funny.
I can't watch Impractical Jokers anymore.
I get so uncomfortable.
I used to have a friend.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
but I
some
get
of
so
it is
uncomfortable.
I can't.
I used to
It's
hang
too
out.
real.
I used
Where
to
they're
hang-
doing
yeah.
some of the punishments to each other.
Dude, some of it's awkward.
hard
It's
to
awkward as
watch.
shit. It's awkward as shit.
So awkward.
My buddy Jeff, I was stuck inside one of the hurricanes that came through. We decided to have this hurricane party, and so we all load up. We all stay at this big house. All Jeff put on for almost 2 fucking days was Impractical Jokers. Nothing
okay.
was on that television but Impractical
Is there
Jokers.
any other way to watch Impractical Jokers? I think that's happened to all of us.
Oh, it cured me.
gotta
It
binge
cured
watch
me
it?
instantly. I was like,
Yeah.
I never want to see that fucking show again. Ever.
I don't even want to be in public and talk to people now.
I don't give a shit. No, they could do season 12 Impractical Jokers, all naked porn stars. I don't give a fuck. I ain't watching. I don't care. I don't care. Fuck it. Doesn't matter.
So uncomfortable.
Not happening.
So uncomfortable.
Cured me of it instantly.
The focus groups, I can't. I can't do it with the focus groups. Oh my god, so awkward.
Some of the comedy that's real awkward like that, it's difficult to watch. It's like
Yeah.
they'll be like in a grocery store and like you'll be talking to some big like Italian dude or something. They'll be like, "Say he's got nice nipples." It's like, no, don't say that. Come on.
You're gonna get that man fucked
Oh
up.
my god, yeah, you're gonna get him killed.
Oh, that's fucking great.
So good.
I Believe You Me podcast. I like it. They do tend to be
Is that Bisping?
Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tend to be a little more on the fight side of things, but they do have moments with a lot of good humor. Michael Bisping being from the UK too.
He is surprisingly funnier than
Yeah.
you expect him to
He
be.
Oh,
is.
he's very funny.
And I like his interviews because when people come on, like if they're kind of being a little bit standoffish or a dick or whatever, Michael Bisping has no qualms going
Goes
in,
in.
calling you out, and making fucking fun of you. And
Michael Bisping is one of those guys that like I liked him the more time went on.
yes, because I
The more
hated
time
him.
went on, yes. When he
in the
when he
beginning.
when he was fighting Dan Henderson, I wanted him to die.
The ultimate
and that,
fighter.
and that finish was one of the most satisfying finishes.
Or the over the top
Dude,
afterwards.
knocked him out and then just came down his lifeless corpse
And then
with
made
the
it,
hand of freedom.
made
I
it
was like,
his logo. Didn't he? He
Yes.
made that shit his logo.
Yes.
Basically like the Michael Jordan logo,
Yes.
just him jumping in the air.
Yes,
The forearm
it was
smash.
great. Just Michael's lifeless body laying there. Like, oh
love
my
when
god,
fights
it's,
end like
it's
that.
fantastic.
If there was ever a lesson learned from fighting, Michael Bisping learned it.
Oh,
tonight.
and then Dan Henderson afterwards, he was like, something had to shut him up. He's like, but I don't even think that'll work.
You know that Dana White gave him a car as a bonus that night. And on the way home, driving the brand new car that it broke down. Oh. So Dan
Typical.
Henderson was like, oh shit, I got a car for a bonus. And it fucking breaks
Typical.
down on the way home.
God bless Dana White.
That's fucking great. You can't write that shit. So you gotta
Another guy that is great that I think I would say he's the godfather of trash talk in MMA is Chael Sonnen.
I was just gonna say that you
Oh
keep
my-
stealing all my lines.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
do
Chael
love it.
Sonnen is very
He
good.
trash talked his way to the top.
He does, and he
Literally.
still trash talks now.
He still does. His podcast. He's got a
It's
podcast.
very good.
It's very
yeah,
good.
Yeah, I like it. I listen.
Was
to
it the
his
Bad Guy
podcast.
Inc? Is that
No.
there?
no.
I forget the name of it, but
I'm trying to think what it is. He is really, really funny though. His trash talk when it came out was the greatest thing ever. When he talked about the Noguera brothers that tried to feed a bus a carrot. I was like, dude, no.
And he carries the podcast like Bill Burr does.
Yeah.
He just talks
Yeah.
by himself. Very rarely, if ever, has anybody on, and he just rants and rambles.
He's unapologetic about everything too.
Oh yeah.
When he said all that controversial shit about Brazil, like his apology was, I had no idea these people had internet. I was like, dude, you can't. Like,
about that.
and he's saying this before his big fight in Brazil. I'm like, you are nuts.
Oh, he's gonna get murdered on
You
the
are
street.
nuts. He didn't. I mean, he was like, he was
didn't
saying
have
the shit
fear.
that Colby Covington was saying, but he was doing it and he was funny.
Yeah.
Like he was still funny.
And I like how now he like kind of admits he's like, yeah, it's just a shit talker. Like I didn't mean anything. I just like I'm just trying to get fights.
He murdered Tito Ortiz.
I love anyone.
He murdered
Anyone
Tito
who
Ortiz at that
murders
press
Tito
conference.
Ortiz is
No,
my hero.
okay, wait.
He
I
theoretically
can't
lost the
stand Tito.
fight. He lost the fight, but the press conference, the fight was already over.
Okay, I have to tell you guys this.
No, in any way, shape, or form, Tito, I can't stand him.
I was in California,
You
and
blew Tito.
we
Oh no.
no. But we were
It
It was the
visiting,
blonde hair.
traveling around, and I seen a sign that they were voting like Tito Ortiz into
Mayor.
office, and I was so I seen the sign. I was like,
He
it
resigned.
can't be that Tito Ortiz, and I just
No, it is, no.
kept driving about my merry way, and then like a month later, I was like, it's that fucking Tito Ortiz.
No, he was the mayor.
And he got in.
He was the mayor of Huntington Beach County.
I didn't know
What the
that.
fuck?
Why
Swear
did
to
I,
God.
I ignore everything Tito,
Look,
so
I
didn't know
understand
that.
he's celebrity, but he is not a smart motherfucker. Like, have you seen his
he's such a
interviews?
dick.
No,
Have
he
you
can't
heard
talk.
him
He can't talk. He can't talk. And I remember, I'll never forget the press conference as long as I live. He was setting up to fight Chael Sonnen, and Tito was trying to talk shit to Chael, who's just sitting there, and he says, this guy, every opportunity he's ever gotten in the UFC, he just used his mouth. And Chael Sonnen simply just took the microphone and said, Tito, the only person I know that ever made a living using their mouth was your ex-wife. And my soul, and the fucked up thing is as the crowd's going nuts, like Chael just like, as Tito's trying to respond, Chael just starts going, that was a bad line. Like, Chael's looking at me, he's standing up and going, that was a bad line. I was like, dude, God,
He
that
would've
man
made
is
a
a
good
wizard.
wrestler.
He is a wizard.
Oh,
He would have
I
made
love
a
it.
good WWE wrestler.
Oh, he'd have
had
been a
the
perfect heel.
personality
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
for that
Perfect
shit,
heel.
You know?
He's cut from that cloth. That dude is, oh my
So
God.
hilarious.
Yeah, you gotta love that shit.
I think, and I think the only person that I've ever seen beat Chael Sonnen in like a trash talk event was the reporter. What's his name? The dude with the big
The
nose.
weird guy.
Israel Adesanya?
Yeah.
No, he's a news reporter. He does a podcast with Chael sometimes. He does an ESPN thing.
Joe Rogan.
No, I can't think of him.
Nope, got nothing.
Can't think of him. He's an Indian or something. What the hell's
Oh,
his
I know,
name?
buddy.
Yes.
Gosling.
No,
That's an Indian guy in Street Fighter.
Thousand. Yeah.
But he interviews all the UFC
Yes.
fighters. I know who you're
I'll
talking
think,
about.
I'll think of his name.
I like him.
Yeah, he's
He
good.
almost got in a fight with somebody. I'm trying to
You know, he
remember
got
who it was.
canceled because it wasn't an Indian person playing him.
Oh my god.
It's so
the hell is his
stupid.
name?
It's like he's been doing it for, I mean, how long has The
Is it
Simpsons
Israel?
been on?
It's not
Yeah, it was like 30 years.
Israel.
Yeah.
It's not Faraz Zahabi. That's the head coach of TriStar.
You're still trying to think about
I'm
this
still
shit?
trying to get this guy's
I'm
name.
looking it up.
Look it up. Look it up.
You know how to use the
All you have to
Google
look up is
device?
like MMA reporter. It'll
Yeah.
definitely be him. It'll be him.
No, there's a lot of MMA reporters.
No, it'll
Yeah,
be
but
Brett.
this guy's
It'll be
like-
Brett Okamoto or this guy. Like this guy is the dude.
I mean,
Like,
it's easy. You just
Ariel.
I'm
Ariel
MMA.
Helwani.
Close.
Ariel Helwani.
I was close.
It was
I said
it was
Israel.
some kind of UFC. It was back when Chael was still with the UFC, and he said he was bragging about his accomplishments. He said I was a silver medalist at the World Championships. He said, and I won this one election in Oregon. He's like, I won it unanimously, and he like dropped the mic. And then like Ariel Helwani was like, was that the one you ran unopposed? And like people started to laugh. And Chael just knew he was caught. He just started laughing and he picked the microphone and he went, yes it is. And I said,
At that point, that's all you got. That's all.
yes,
you can
but
do.
they
That's
actually
your
have a
move.
good friendship and
Yeah.
they're actually good friends.
Ariel's actually he's pretty funny too.
He is.
He pisses some people off.
He destroyed Dylan Dennis.
Yeah.
He destroyed Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis was talking about how he's like, I'm the only thing keeping MMA relevant, all this irrelevant, all this shit. And he goes, you're talking crazy. He's like, the last two guys you fought, he's like, do you even know their names? And like Dylan Dennis was like, no, I don't. And like Ariel was like, honestly, if they came into my house to change my cable, he's like, I wouldn't fucking know any different. He's like, who have you fought, Dylan? Like in the last 3 years, who have you fought?
dude.
Like name one person. He's like,
So funny.
that's the guy's delusional. His biggest claim to fame is Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing keeping Dylan relevant.
Which
now.
explains a lot.
And I think Dylan's not doing well. He got tripped up by a bouncer.
It really
or
didn't
something.
help him.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. That video was hilarious.
love
Yeah,
that
he
so
lost
much.
a grappling match to a bouncer at a nightclub.
Yeah, and they're
He's
like, that
not
guy
doing good.
is like no skills at all. It was a
Love
really
it.
bad rear naked choke, was it?
Yeah,
It was rear naked choke,
the
too,
best
like,
thing
come
ever was
on.
Gordon Ryan sending that bouncer a ticket to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
was the
I was
best.
just gonna say
yeah.
that.
Gordon Ryan was like,
Got
that
my
guy
brain
needs an invitation
in.
to Abu
That's-
Dhabi.
that's
'cause
fucking-
he
that's
beat
great.
Dylan Daris. He qualifies. You know?
Yeah.
He's good to go.
Oh, so good.
Speaking of that, if you're involved in jiu-jitsu, Gordon Ryan, I guess, is good to go for the super fight with Galval.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Andre
Wasn't
Gal-
he hurt? That's why he
They
didn't
were,
do it?
yeah, and they were going at it for a while. They were talking shit. In fact,
That
there was even the
smack is
infamous
so-
slap. Yeah,
So stupid.
backstage, Gordon Ryan slapped Galval in the mouth.
I believe he slapped him twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Twice.
well, 'cause he said he was good to go because Galval was talking shit to him and I guess pushed him at one point or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you're pushing me, we're gonna escalate obviously to the next level. But you could tell that Galval didn't want to fight because if you slap another man in the face and then it doesn't escalate from there, then there's no need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is the
I mean-
most, outside of spitting
Yeah.
in a man's
Yeah.
face, slapping a man
Even
in
if
his
you're gonna
face.
beat me up, even if I'm going to lose the fight, if you slap me in the face on camera,
Oh yeah.
it's on.
You got to defend yourself, man.
I'm gonna
at that
take the
point.
beating on camera. I
Would
guess.
you?
So
Would
it's-
you defend yourself?
I think the whole thing's immature to me. I think
is.
it's childish. Like I said,
Ooh,
like
high road, taking the high road.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
this. I like
yeah.
this.
no, I just think
no,
you're
go
a
ahead.
you're grown ass men. I understand the shit talking to get things hyped, like we talked about last time with
Right.
Gordon Ryan and all that. I get it for for fans and stuff like that.
Sure.
But like you're grown up. You have children.
Yeah.
Like just shut the fuck up and fight. And I understand why he didn't fight him, because if something were to happen and he were to get injured, career over, or at least over for a long time for either of them. If either were to get really actually seriously injured in a fight,
I can
How
see
do you?
your
How do?
point,
Yeah. How
but
do
I
you?
would still
your
fight him.
career and your life and your family, your family's more important than.
I agree, but I was. Still
How do
fighting
you
him.
think it goes? How do you think it goes when Gordon and
I think
Andre
Gordon heel hooks him or something. Who knows?
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Gordon subs him.
Is
Yeah.
is anybody
Yeah.
taking out Gordon Ryan right now?
No, not
He's
even
a
close.
beast.
He shows up, and I mean, he's the type. I mean, he went up against who's the dude at Fight Sports? Oh my God.
Ariel Helwani?
No, not Eric Wani. I'm shit with names today.
Cyborg.
He's a smaller guy. No, he's right under.
I don't know
Cyborg.
why you always. I never know
Wagner?
names,
Yeah,
and you
Wagner
always
Roca.
look in my direction
I know.
like I'm gonna.
You got the hat, man. You got the fucking hat.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am shit with names. I'm never gonna have the name.
You're the tech guy.
It's
You're the brains.
It's gonna be real rare that I have the name.
If this was
Nobody
the
remembers your
Enterprise, I
name
would
either,
always
Ed.
be asking you a question. I'd be beaming your room. Ed, we need intel up here on the bridge. We need intel. But no, Wagner Roca. That's what it
Yes.
is. He went up against Gordon, and Gordon dropped that note off to the announcers. He gave them an
Oh,
envelope.
yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
you
well,
can
how he
try
was
and
Gave
gonna
them
win.
an
He's gonna
envelope.
beat him.
I mean, this is a high. He's going against Wagner Roca. He's
Yeah.
going against a world champion.
That's wild.
And he leaves an envelope with the guys. He says, "Open it after I win."
Yeah.
And he literally triangles him, submits
Yeah.
him. They open up the note, and it's a picture of a triangle. He drew a picture of a triangle. I mean, what the hell?
That's some
It's next
David
level.
Copperfield.
Yeah,
Copperfield shit. Copperfield.
That's got to
Copper
be
pot, just a
insulting
copper pot.
for his competitor, where it's
Spit it
like,
out.
wait a minute, you gave a note ahead of time of how you were going to beat me,
Yeah.
and then beat me that way.
Yes.
But that's why there's
Fuck.
certain people who are the best because they have a different brain. They have a different way of thinking of things, and they can make you play their game. And a lot of it's, jujitsu, but a lot of it is a mentality. And some people just have that switch. Like people who are incredible at like violin or something, they just have they use a different part of their brain.
Right.
They have an
Danaher,
obsession for it, and it allows them to stick at it longer than other people
Yeah.
would.
They see things.
But does
before you
Ryan
see
get
them.
where he gets without Danaher?
No. I think Gordon Ryan is extremely naturally talented, and physically he's a freak. I want to see a piss test from him to see if he's clean.
Yeah, I was gonna just say he put a
'Cause-
few pounds on a little quickly.
Yeah, he's on
So did
he's
I.
on that Brazilian acai, if you know what I mean. But
No,
yeah,
I do not. Please explain.
yeah. Ask what the hell's that? The guy that holds heel hooks too long. That big juiced up freak.
Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, Ariel Helwani.
I can do this all day.
Yeah.
I can do this all day.
Pahara.
Ariel's today.
Who's Samar Pahara? That's who it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
He's
guy-
the poster boy.
Yeah,
Oh
fucking,
yeah.
he's on all the acai. But yeah, Gordon Ryan, I think he would have been maybe a world champion level without Danaher, just off talent. But with John Danaher's mind behind him, I think he subs Galval. I think Galval's good.
Yeah, I
He's just
think
too
so.
traditional.
I'm thinking it's it would be like a leg lock situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. He'll expose
It's
a
not
leg.
going to be
he'll
an
hook him.
armbar triangle situation with him. I think it's
No.
going to be like a leg lock situation.
No, because Galval's old school and he's seen everything. But I think even if like super juiced up Galval comes in, the one that competed at the last super fight at Abu Dhabi, I think Gordon beats him.
Yeah.
I think a healthy Gordon just takes it from him. So
Yeah.
that's my vote.
I like it. All right. So to wrap things up, if you had to pick
Please wrap it up.
one.
I never wrap it up.
So for the next 30 minutes.
That's it? 30 minutes?
If you had to pick one movie to throw into a time machine
Oh shit.
and send to the future that would be something representative of the comedy that you like. It doesn't have to be the best movie, just something that you like. It could be something that people even wouldn't necessarily think to watch, but something that like, hey, that was a great comedy.
We're
to
not
me.
putting Blazing Saddles in
No.
the time.
You don't want to fuck it up for the future.
No, we're not trying to do that. They won't be able to handle it.
All right, starting with Eddie.
Ooh, okay.
Oh,
What
man.
would you put in the time machine?
How about Spaceballs?
Okay.
Eddie likes the balls. Spaceballs is great. Mel Brooks. You got the giant comb in the desert.
Yep. It's
You got probably one of the very few appearances of the guy with Darth
Rick
Helmet.
Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Oh, yeah.
Darth
The
Helmet.
Schwartz.
The Schwartz is with
Use the
you.
Schwartz.
And the fact they had a gift shop inside.
Yoda was ridiculous in that movie.
Yeah, that was fucking great. All right, that's a really good one. Spaceballs. Was that John Candy?
John
He was.
Candy's in
He was
there,
the
yes.
Chewbacca lookalike thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big fat
He's a
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
He was not Chewbacca.
Yeah. Pizza the Hut.
Yep.
Pizza the Hut. Yeah. All right, so I like that. Space
All right.
balls.
That's going in.
Margo?
Speaking of Dogma, Clerks and Clerks 2.
Ooh,
okay.
I like
We
that.
can do a twofer.
You're gonna throw
Yep.
black and white movies in that shit.
Hilarious movies, classic.
Yes.
Yeah. Old school, and it's kind of like the way they are is kind of like how people used to hang out before there were cell phones and all that bullshit. We used to hang out at the gas
We used
station.
to hang out on the corner.
Have Slurpees, and I can't drink those anymore because they're too fattening. But
Mallrats.
Mallrats,
Yes.
yeah.
That guy that's staring at that like picture.
The photo,
You can't see the
yes.
sailboat.
Bro, I hate those fucking
It's a
photos.
schooner. It's a sailboat. Schooner is a sailboat.
Oh shit, yeah, man.
All movie, he's just staring at that.
Whatever happened to those fucking photos? They all disappeared. I don't see not one in anybody's home.
What happened was they made software where you can make them at home on your computer, and you didn't need to buy them.
That's
Okay.
that.
Okay, so we got Clerks 1 and 2. We've got Spaceballs. Ian?
Oh man.
Please don't say gay porn.
I'm not gonna say gay porn. It's too easy.
He
It's too
wants
easy.
to.
I was talking about how good Tropic Thunder was earlier, but I think if we're gonna put one comedy in to stand the test of time, I'm gonna go with another Mel Brooks one. I'm gonna go with Young Frankenstein. Because Young Frankenstein
saw
is a
that.
funny ass movie. It's got ridiculous shit in it, and I think it's a basis off an existing work. 'Cause
It's
even in the future,
horror humor.
yes. It was just it's just stupid humor. Like the hunchback, his freaking hump moves from one side to the other. Like throughout the movie, it's continuity errors. Like it'll just move. And he says like, and then Dr. Frankenstein's like, I can take care of that hump from you. And he's like, what hump? He like has no idea.
That's like silly old school.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It's very old school.
He goes in the room with the monster, and he's like, "No matter what I say, he's like, don't let me out of this room." He's like,
Yeah.
I need to. So he goes in the room, like the monster like gets up, and starts looking at him. He goes, "Get me the fuck out!" He starts like beating on the door. You got to get high and watch it. It's fucking
God.
great. It's fucking great. So yes, Young Frankenstein's going in that.
All right,
time
that's a
machine.
great pick. I'm gonna go with the Ben Stiller movie because I don't think we did enough justice for him. He's fucking hilarious. I'm definitely gonna pick Zoolander. I liked
All right.
Will
I thought you were
Ferrell
gonna
was
say
in there
Along Came
too.
Polly.
Yeah.
Oh, Along Came
I was trying to
Polly's
help
great,
You're just trying to make
but
Can you stop asking me to do those things publicly?
Wait till after the podcast.
the fact that Ben Stiller had his wife in an orgy in
Yeah.
a sex scene
Yep.
in the movie,
Yep.
and he was directing it.
He's a stud.
That's it. That was it for me. And when I heard that behind the scenes shit, but that can't turn left. The Steel Magnum. What's the final?
Blue Steel.
Blue Steel. Yeah. Blue Steel. Will Ferrell played Mugatu.
Yep.
That fucking.
I love when I love it. My favorite. I post this on every anytime any anyone says anything crazy on Facebook, I always post the one that says, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah. I mean, but his hair in that movie, like, he did it up. It was
so good.
That would definitely be the pick that I would put into
And Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
What's the
so
fucking
that fucking nose?
What's the dodgeball movie?
Oh, you dodge a wrench,
Yeah.
you can dodge a ball.
Yep.
Isn't it just called Dodgeball?
Yeah,
I
it is
believe
called
it's
Dodgeball.
called
Ben Stiller is ridiculous in that movie.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they had the pirates.
Fucking Chuck. He's like smelling the pizza, and he has like, he's like fucking hooked up to like electric.
When they had to play dodgeball in the dominatrix outfits.
Yes.
That
Oh.
movie's so good.
What about the Big Lebowski?
Oh.
How do we not talk about the Big
yeah, the Big
Lebowski?
Lebowski.
The Jesus. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
The last time we
The
talked
dog
about
has
comedies, I
papers.
talked about
That's
the Big
just like
Lebowski.
their opinion, man.
Yep. Because if you go into the Big Lebowski, then you got to bring up Kingpin.
Yeah.
Because Kingpin was another
Yep.
fucking great. The Amish guy
Yep.
would be the best bowler.
Dude, Sex Drive is another underrated comedy that people
Never
don't
seen
talk
it.
about. Yeah.
I just watched that recently. It's good.
The guy from Family Guy that plays Chris, Seth MacFarlane. It's Seth Green. He's in it. He plays an Amish dude. Dude, that movie is ridiculous. The guy's
Love
the guy,
when they're fixing up the car.
Yes.
And he's like, we don't know what we're doing. I'm kidding. We got it.
Yeah,
It's like,
the fucking
it's
best.
so
The
dry.
best part of that movie is where he's working at like the taco donut shop, and he walks around the mall and has to give samples. And these kids walk up to him and ask directions, but they don't realize they stick this huge dildo in his costume.
Oh no.
So he's walking around the fucking mall in this taco donut suit with this giant cock just hanging off his suit, and he walks up to this big biker dude with his daughter, and he goes, "Hey, sir," he's like, "I got something for your little girl." the dude fucking blasts him off his face. It's so good. It's so goddamn good.
Okay,
good.
you know what? I know that reminds me of a story.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
It's
Here
a
we
construction site story.
Oh, God.
So
I
I worked for this company, and I won't say what it was.
So turn
And we
it
were
on.
working at this private home on Palm Beach, and we had the manager. His name was Mike, and
Already like him.
me and a friend of mine, we got our hands on some spray foam, and I don't know if you know what this is, but
Oh,
you
don't
spray
even
it,
get me
you can
started. I
shape
had
it,
that last week.
and then it grows inside.
Expands. Yep.
Yes. So what we decided to do was make a giant penis inside of Mike's toolbox. So
It's never
spray-
coming out of there.
No,
You're
it doesn't come out.
idiot.
It sticks to everything, and it's fucking hilarious. What we didn't know
That's
what
how
was
you
about to
buy a
happen
toolbox.
that made it even better was after we sprayed this giant penis, we're standing off to the side and we're waiting for Mike to walk over to his truck because at the end of the day he's got to put his tools away. He walks over to the truck. He goes to open it and he stops. This lady from across the street walks over to him and she's like, "Hey, I have a question for you." So she starts talking to him. The owner of the house comes out.
Oh, nice.
Two gay guys, nicest guys ever, right? But we're like, fuck, there's a giant penis inside of this man's toolbox.
Oh my God.
Please don't open it. Please don't open it. He's talking to the lady, and she actually wanted to borrow a tool.
Oh no.
So there, me and
No.
Pete run back. He opens up the toolbox, and this lady goes, "Oh my God, is that what I think it is?" The owner of the house, he looks over. We're dying laughing in the corner. He looks over at us. Thank God he had a sense of humor. He starts laughing.
Oh,
Mike is angry as fuck, like red face.
Oh, no.
He's like, "Who the fuck did this? Who did?" Me and Peter in the corner, we're laughing our ass off. Like, yeah, we're like, "Who did it?" There's 4 guys on the construction
no.
site, and the 2 assholes in the corner are laughing. This lady's appalled. She walks away. She doesn't need the tool anymore. Right?
She needs a different tool now.
She need a different tool.
Top it off, owner pulls up. So he gets out of his van and he's like, "What's going on? Why is everybody laughing?" We had the biggest, like, I thought I was fired. I thought I was fired. He comes over, he laughs. He's like, "You just can't do this. You know, we got people here who are working in their house." We're like, "But it's funny. It's a penis." We were so willing to pay for his tools in his toolbox that
I was
we
going to say,
did
did
that.
he have to get a new toolbox? That stuff does
Yeah.
not come off. You have to chisel it off.
No, it's fucking
yeah.
harsh.
Yeah.
I've done some pretty bad shit on the job for the sake of comedy. For the sake of comedy.
Oh,
For the
no.
sake of comedy, you got to do that shit, you know? So,
Maybe one day I'll tell you.
on that note, cue the music. Thank you for listening to the Sofa Kingdom podcast. You can find us on all your social media platforms at.
Sofa Kingdom OFC.
You can find us on YouTube.
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Tell them
Look
where they
us
can
up.
find you, Margo.
Jitzchickz on Instagram and YouTube.
They're pretty funny.
Yes.
Layer.
Tell them what to do, Ian.
Like, subscribe. Send a dick pic.
Don't do the last part.
Go ahead. I'm not looking at the social media. It's all good by me.
Especially don't send it to the social media. Send it to @Ian.
In fact, the Instagram is where you want to send it.
Yep. The winner gets a lifetime supply of Crisco.
The hairier, the better.
Well, I guess Margo just volunteered to judge the penises.
No, I'm the one that sends my own. I send my dick.
She's last year's winner.
Yeah, she did say the hairy one.
That's true.
It's so angry.